Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. What's going on, y'all? What's up, falsetto? Trump, 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 Kamala, politics, political debates, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Hello, hello. What's up, Jamie? What's up, everyone? Guys, Trump's tariffs. Trump's tariffs just got struck down. Pickles, you want to join a panel tonight about new EPS revelation? EPS? Environmental? What's up? Oh, um, I don't know, Oslo. I don't know. I might stick to this tonight. What kind of SSRI are you on? Guys, tap the screen. Tap the screen. Let's get a few thousand likes on the screen. What's up, Marika? Good trouble. RTP will be there. I'm not on SSRIs. Why do you ask? MAGA is against globalists and the deep state. Real simple. No, they're not. They are the deep state. You got that SSRI stare. Uh, good morning, y'all. What's up, Marcus? How's it going, dudes? Yellow,
Hey, hello, how are you, my friend?
doing good. Are you a Trump supporter?
No, but I came here to ask you a question.
Okay.
Um, so I'm Mexican, right? Actually, I'm from Central America, and I've been living in the country for 25 years, and I do not understand, like, where all this hate coming from, like, literally. Like I feel like scared already though. I've been too many years in this country and I never feel like I feel right now. And I've been listening to your show, a few times, how talk to the MAGA people and you know what I'm saying. And but my point is though, like at the end of the day, like what do you guys? I mean, or what is your view, or what do you think about immigrants like me or Mexicans that we just came here and we just trying to wants to live in peace, like we don't want to bother anybody, harassing anybody.
I'm all about it.
And
There's nothing you can point to that's like a bad outcome of that. Like I just want it to be more legal, more streamlined. But I
yeah,
like when we look at like what the actual problem is of people coming here undocumented, it's not a
hmm,
problem that's fixed by deportation at all. It's not that's not the actual problem. Like it's that makes no sense. So um
yeah,
I don't know. I've yet to get like a real answer out of anybody on the right why they're doing this, and I think it just goes to show how
yeah,
delusional they are.
bro. It's really tough when you ask someone like me that I've been here pretty much my whole life, and I went to school here. I got everybody's here, my friends, everyone, right? And just to think that one day I'm just gonna get pulled over and they're gonna drag my ass out of the car and send back to Central America, bro. That's my nightmare. Like think about like start from zero in another country that I haven't been for a long time. Probably I don't even know anybody there anymore. Like everything. is here now. For me, everybody's here, and just to think about like that, you just have to leave. And but you know what's crazy though, living in the fear like that you gotta think about twice to do anything because you don't want to get in trouble, and it's
Yeah,
really tough though.
I agree. Dude, I really am sorry about what's going on in the country right now. Half of the country isn't brainwashed, and we're behind you, and we're sorry,
Yeah.
man. I'm gonna get to the next guest. I'm gonna get to a
Yes,
patient,
sir.
but I appreciate you coming
Thank
in,
you.
man. You stay
Thank you
safe
for
out
the
there, all right?
opportunity, brother.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you. God
problem.
bless you. All righty. Bye bye.
Hello.
What's going on, buddy?
Not much. Are you a Trump supporter?
Oh. Hey, don't keep me, 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 don't keep me. I got a question, I got a question, I got a question, I got a question, I got a question. Don't keep me, please, don't do it. Okay. So I've been getting a lot of slack for this. I think Biden is a better president than Obama. Is that crazy? I
Mm,
said it around some friends
I think
and
he
they got
did.
on
I
my ass.
think he did more legislation. He was more productive.
That's what I'm saying. I think he was a better president than Obama. Now I love Obama. I just want to
I
say, like, was
I don't
that
know if he's
crazy?
like overall better. I think Obama was a great leader. He was a great speaker. I think he united the country the way he spoke to the country. Maybe Biden slacked in that or was lacking in that department, but I don't know.
Oh, heavily.
But Biden did great things.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold you. Get to the Trump support. I just wanted to ask that.
All right, man. Take it easy. Chad, if you're a Trump supporter, hop in the box. Come tell me why you like Trump. What a beautiful Friday you're gonna spend it crying. Dude, Manny, you're gonna spend it in my channel, helping me with my algorithm, typing in all caps. And I appreciate you. Thank you. I did hear about the SCOTUS ruling. Chat. SCOTUS just slapped fucking dicks right out of Trump's mouth and took his emergency power tariffs down, his sweeping tariffs. I have no idea what he's going to do. All of the deals that he's made across the world might fall apart. All of the trillions of dollars that he promises is going to be invested here might not come, probably won't come. This is more instability for the stock market. This is more instability for our economy. It's fantastic. You guys are having a hell of a go at it. You're trying to do authoritarian stuff in the Supreme Court. Even your own Supreme Court justices are working against you. And it's wild. It is wild. What are y'all going to do now? What are y'all going to do? Trump just got his entire economic plan crushed because they said, "Hey, we don't really do kings here." Crushed. Absolutely destroyed. Someone goes, "So you don't like him for some reason?" for some for for some reason? Weren't you guys all like screaming "fuck your feelings" like 4 years ago? He's doing good. The economy's a disaster. The country is a disaster. We're falling apart. We're fighting. Families are divorcing. People are dying at the hands of the federal government. He's invading cities with military, trying to change the way our elections work. After the states' rights people came out like a year or two ago, now they're all about Trump's rights. Trump's rights to control cities, states, elections, everything. Other countries from his desk. ICE detainees being denied medical care. Oof. Voted for Tallarico yesterday. Fucking love that. Yeah, I love it. I love it when the fuck your feelings movement turned into the Democrats need to calm down with the rhetoric movement because we're violent. I missed y'all back, chat. Never looked more forward to a midterm in my 52 years. Yeah. Oof. Letting climate change run rampant. Oh my god. The radical, hateful left, Pam Bondi. They're all soft, weak conservatives. I agree. I think that most conservatives are emotionally unintelligent and have problems managing their feelings. Hello.
Hey, I saw a video of you getting caught trying to meet a 13-year-old. So I was wondering why you think you should have a platform and why you think you should be talking about Trump when you're caught on video in November trying to touch a 13-year-old girl.
You
Like, why
came
should
up
you have a
here 2 days
platform?
ago. You came up here 2 days ago saying the same thing.
Yeah, I still think the same thing. So why do
Remember
you
when
think
we
that you
tried
should
to
have a
find the video
platform?
you talked about? Remember when we
It's
tried
on
to do
Dads
that?
Against Predators. So if you can't find the video, that's on you. But my point is,
All right. Guys, if y'all are wondering, he just comes up on creators platforms and says that. And last time he was here, I Googled it with him on here with the screen showing. He's just making it up like a weirdo. That is embarrassing, dude. It's a typical fascist thing, honestly. It's like a very it's like what they do in Russia. Is like you don't have to have any evidence. They just like point at political people and they're like, that guy likes children. And like no evidence or anything, but you just have to cast the doubt, and then those people's careers are like over and everything. That's what they do. It's very on, what do you call it? On brand. I just laughed Adam Cries live, and he did the same thing there. Oh, did he? Usually it is those people that have the hard drives that need to be checked. Chat, if you're a Trump supporter, you want to debate, hop in the box. Who was it recently? There was that one guy who came out swinging against, I think, the LGBTQ community recently, and he was caught diddling kids. And then there was another guy who came out with the TDS bill, trying to label anybody who doesn't agree with Trump mentally unstable. He got caught meeting up with like a 16-year-old girl, Republican, of course. And he had a wife and kids and everything. Justin Eichhorn. Yeah. MAGA, the party misinformation. It is so true. It's embarrassing because they just, I think the emotional, like the process is like, consume misinformation. Go talk to your friends about misinformation. Reaffirm that that's real with each other. And then you come talk to a liberal and they fact check you. And you're in such denial that you think that person's crazy for telling you the truth. And then they get angry and then resentful, maybe embarrassed about their opinions. And it's just a vicious cycle. They go for more misinformation. They go digging for more misinformation to justify their misinformation. Hello.
Hey, dude, how's it going?
It's going good. Are you a Trump supporter?
I'm a little bit of a center leaning. I kind of think everybody's a little bit corrupt in today's society, but I had a couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
So with these Epstein files, did you ever get curious on like why maybe previous administrations never pushed the DOJ to release them?
So they were under seal, under investigation.
Yeah, and who do you think pushed to have them unsealed?
Trump, or his administration, I assume.
Yes, exactly. And so why do you think maybe the Biden administration never pushed the DOJ to release them?
We weren't politicizing it. He didn't run on it. Didn't talk about it. He kept his head down. He didn't play politics like that, did he?
Don't you think that's like a little bit weird that,
you-
all of a sudden
Can you point to a time where Biden was being political like that, trying to weaponize that kind of stuff?
yeah, sure, his vice president Kamala
Mhm.
when she was on the show with Jimmy Kimmel
Yeah.
talking about how we strongly and rightly believe that there shouldn't be an absolute separation between what they wanted as an administration and what the Department of Justice did. So they didn't feel like they should push the DOJ to release them. But then a month later, criticized President Trump for waiting for Congress to act to release the files. I think that's a tiny bit hypocritical now.
Did he run on it? Like he could have released it just by himself, but Congress had to force his hand.
No, that's incorrect.
That is 100% correct. And he pulled Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and a bunch of other conservatives into the Oval Office and screamed at them, yelled at them. That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene is no longer part of your party. That's why she's no longer there, because he was trying to force people to not sign the petition to release the files.
Not my party either. Like I said, I believe both sides are equally corrupt.
There's no, I think that's silly. There's nothing you could point to on the Richter scale of like 12, where Trump is with 34 felonies, like 88 other felony indictments.
Don't get me wrong, bro.
Brazenly breaking the law, having a big.
I think he's 100% corrupt.
No. I think he is 100,000% more corrupt. He's made $1.6 billion last year, which is all the presidents combined, all the people in Congress combined. Everything they've made in history put together, that's more than that.
Yeah, but like to call the left not corrupt is just completely incorrect, no?
Okay, but we're talking about like a 2 out of 10.
No, I'm trying to get to the point of like, this is exactly what they want, right? They want all the rich, they want you, the left, the right, arguing with each other on who's correct, so they can just keep making all the skins off your back.
But you'd have to show me the legislation that the left passes that does this. The only thing I've seen from the right is legislation that helps the wealthy, hurts poor people, hurts the country, hurts the economy.
How about all the donations for senators, bipartisan from AIPAC, for starters?
Can you tell me what legislation that led to, besides giving money to Israel?
That's a pretty good one.
Right. And you're going to have to paint to me where like the rest of the country, like, did they pass laws to hurt the environment on the left? No, that's the right. Did they pass laws to hurt voting rights and voter suppression? No, that's the right. Do they cut taxes and fuck up the budget and create huge recessions and huge deficits every single time they're in office? No, that's the right. Do they create jobs? No, that's the left. Like, they literally are useless. On the right, they are useless in every single way. They don't pass things for us. They can lie and get things passing people to vote for them. But if like someone on the left lies to get elected, I don't know. The worst that could happen is they balance the budget and the economy gets better.
Gotcha. So just so I've got this correct, you do believe the left then is not corrupt and morally just, right?
I think the left is like a 2 out of 10, and I think the right is a 12 out of 10.
Gotcha. I completely disagree with that, and I think we'll have to leave it at that.
Can you give me something that the left is so corrupt on that it like meets Trump trying to overthrow?
I kind of just need the one there. And it's who's paying congressmen and senators and yada, yada, yada.
Can you tell me something just as corrupt as Trump trying to install fake slates of electors?
It does need to be just as, that's what you're focused on, but that's my point. Okay. It can be a little bit corrupt or a major bit corrupt, but corrupt is corrupt and corruption needs to go. So that's where I guess we'll disagree. That's I guess where we'll disagree.
We'll never be 100% not corrupt. That's stupid. That's a pipe dream.
Well, I think that mentality is just a silly one to live in, and I guess you'll just be stuck in that one for the rest of your life.
Can you point to me to a country that
we'll never be out of corruption, is what you said. That sounds like a great plan for the country.
Can you tell me about a country that's not corrupt? Cool. Probably not. Yeah. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. Are you a Trump supporter?
I am.
Oh, what do you like about Trump?
I just wanted to touch on something that the reason I came out is because something that you guys were talking about that I think that was missing from the conversation is that, uh, like the Democratic administrations could have charged the co-conspirators in the Epstein case, just because there was cases that were sealed or whatever. Because that's a common refrain from you guys. It's like, oh, there was courts that had sealed the records, blah blah blah. But that wouldn't have stopped the Department of Justice from criminally charging the co-conspirators.
I
So
guess we're gonna have to look at the Department of Justice.
this is a multi-administration cover-up. The Democrats have covered it up, and Republicans are covering it up now.
I think it's just a cope. It's just a cope. We didn't politicize it. We had pandemic.
No, I agree. It is a cope on you guys. Yeah, you're right. It is a cope.
You guys demanded Epstein files come out. They came out. Now you're blaming us that they're bad.
No, but I'm saying you're pretending like you're making it sound like it was only Republicans that covered up. The Democrats didn't even talk about it, even though the files were in their possession for 4 years,
Under seal.
and during the Obama administration as well.
They were under
I mean,
seal.
this is a cover up that goes beyond party. Both sides have covered it up, probably
but
because we're
everybody in
protecting
the-
intelligence services
single
and agents
person-
in the process.
Every single person in the files, it's just a bunch of people on the right. There's a couple on the left, but it's a ton of people in the current administration, close to the current administration, hired by the current administration.
Sure,
people,
yeah.
like this is such a cope.
The White House counsel for Obama just resigned from her position with Goldman Sachs, I think it was.
Yeah, I know.
Or JP Morgan, I can't forget.
Can you,
So I mean, if it would have been the other way, I mean, we'd be saying the same thing about the Obama administration.
right, but she was a counsel, right? Like he didn't be
Yeah,
close
kind of
friends with
important.
her. This happened after, right? So like if she was convicted for this before Obama hired her, that'd be a thing. But that's what Trump did. Trump got Alex Acosta, the guy who worked Jeffrey's case down from like 67 federal charges to like nothing, to like one solicitation account for minor. Like that, Trump said, "Attaboy, you're my labor secretary." Come in
Right,
here,
but
get in here.
it seems like you don't want to engage with the big point I just made.
Yeah,
That they could have
what did
the
she do?
Biden administration could have charged co-conspirators, and you're just pretending like that's not important. That means they covered it up too. They didn't do anything with it, even though they
It's a
had the
reach.
files.
Like did they even look at it? No,
It's a
they didn't.
reach.
Yeah,
They didn't have the
Did they
files?
look at it?
Oh, that's your argument?
No, they didn't look
They
at it.
couldn't open up the.
No.
They didn't know how to turn on the computer.
No, they just didn't. They didn't politicize this and have the country demand they do it. So they didn't do it.
So okay, so if you know, hold on, let me see if I understand your argument. So yeah, let's say you know someone killed somebody, and they're like, "Hey, I'm not gonna make it part of my platform that this person killed somebody or unalive somebody." I'm sorry. So I'm not gonna make it. So the fact that I covered it up, even though I knew this person unalived somebody, that makes me better than the guy who said, "I'm going to release the fact that this guy unalived somebody," and I'm in the process of doing that. That you
So-
think that you think that part is better?
I don't know if that was a coherent sentence, but no, I don't think that it's as bad for Biden to never have looked at it.
So now
than
not
to
talk about it,
know
even though I
be
know
a
about
part of it, because Trump, according to Trump, he knew about all of this as far back as 2006. He knew about the insides. He knew about everybody knowing about it. He could have just solved this whole thing by himself. And he sat in the White House.
As a private citizen? How could he have solved it as a private citizen?
But
Didn't
after
he
he got into the
call?
White House, right? So
Didn't he
after
call? Didn't he call the
2006,
police?
That's what they.
Didn't he
that's what
call
I'm
the
saying.
police to
That's
tell
what I'm
them that he
saying.
was involved in that?
That's what I'm saying. He told the chief of police in 2006, "Hey, everybody knows about this.
Okay.
You should do something, right?" According
And
to
and whose
Trump,
decision is it at that point
and
to do something
then
about it?
in 2017, he still hasn't done
Well,
anything.
whose decision is it
He
to do
knew
something about it at that
intimately
point?
about all of this. He didn't have to
Once
open
he
any
calls the
files,
cops,
right?
Once he calls the cops, who's responsible for taking
This
care
is
of that?
again. This is all if we believe.
I know
this-
it's hard. I know. Just follow along. Who's responsible for looking into that? Once I call the cops and tell them, hey, my neighbor's
I guess the
doing
chief-
illegal things.
the
Who's
ch-
who
the
who's
chief of
responsible for looking
police,
into that?
I guess, right? But when you become president,
Right.
and then you still
So-
know about it, isn't
So
that weird?
2006, he knew he was to become president. Is that
No,
what
in
you're saying?
2017, when he, or I'm
Well,
sorry,
he called in 2006.
in 2017, when he already knew about this, he's known for 10 years, and he didn't do anything, and he knew all of the people and co-conspirators and the people who've partaken, didn't say a thing, didn't care to break it up,
Wasn't
didn't care.
he charged? Wasn't Epstein's charged during the Trump administration?
No, it was 06.
No. He called. You're getting all mixed up. Maybe that's why you're confused. You're getting it all mixed up. In '06, he called the Palm Beach Sheriff's Department to make
According
saying
to
that Jeffrey Epstein.
according
So
to a
according
piece
to
of
the Epstein
paper that
files.
came out of this, yes, according
Sure.
to
Okay.
a anonymous
So
tip from a piece of
and
paper that found
right.
its way into the
It's
Epstein
okay.
files. Got
It's
it?
okay. There's no. You're just mixing up your dates. That's all. I mean, it's not a big
Okay.
deal. I mean,
And
don't put
and
that pressure on yourself.
when
You got
was
to know
Epstein
everything.
first
I mean,
charged?
putting a lot of pressure on yourself here.
When
You
was
don't need to
Epstein?
know everything.
When was Epstein first charged, Romo?
First charge?
Uh-huh.
I think it was. I think it was convicted in 2009. I'm not sure about the actual conviction date. I mean,
Yeah.
the charging date. I think
So
it was in
it was
2008.
around
Maybe.
it was around 06, and I think he
No,
got
it wasn't
his
06. I mean, well, he was charged in '06, but I think he ended up getting convicted in 2009.
okay.
That you
And
might be right
and
about
I
that.
said charged. So yeah. So Trump
Okay.
says that after all of this, after he saw Epstein and he knew all about it, and that everyone knew all about it, he thought that Epstein's plea deal of 55 months was good enough, and the guy who got that for him should be his labor secretary. And that there's
Okay.
nothing else to worry about. That the cover-up definitely
Sure.
wasn't some conspiracy of a bunch of people working together to fuck a bunch of kids and stuff. He didn't think about that. He forgot all about it, and he hired the guy that protected the dude that was fucking kids and running an island.
Right. But okay, so let me ask you this. I know you're gonna pivot or come up with something else because I know the answer scares you, but I'll ask you again. Could have the Biden administration's DOJ filed the charges against the co-conspirators in the Epstein scandal? Yes or no?
Did they have it unsealed?
Could they have? Could they
No.
have?
Did they have it
Oh, they
unsealed?
could not have. Why couldn't the Department of Justice file criminal charges against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators? Explain
Okay.
that to me.
Ghislaine Maxwell was still
No,
appealing
just
this.
real quick.
I
What is
told
Ghislaine
you.
Maxwell?
Do you want to listen?
So
Turn your ears
Ghislaine
on, bud.
Maxwell can stop the
Yes.
DOJ from charging someone?
Yes. So when a case is open, you ready
That's
to listen, Romo?
ridiculous.
Turn your
That's
listening ears on.
ridiculous. No, I mean it's
Turn your
nonsense
listening
what you're
ears on,
saying.
Romo. I know that you're very emotional.
It's
and
nonsense.
You're
what
feeling
saying.
embarrassed, and I don't blame you.
No, it's nonsense what you're saying. Ghislaine
So-
Maxwell can stop the Department of Justice from criminally charging. I mean, listen. I mean, are you listening to yourself?
I'm gonna help you out.
Are you listening? Are you listening to
Do you
yourself?
want to hear it? Do you want to hear the?
Sure.
actual
I mean,
reason?
I'll try to
You
hold my
ready?
laughter.
You
Go ahead.
brace yourself,
Yes, go
okay?
ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So when Ghislaine Maxwell is looking at sentencing, and her case is under appeal, you cannot unseal those documents. Her lawyers.
Do you not understand what charging means?
Yeah.
Who's talking about
How do
unsealing
we
records?
know who to charge when those records are sealed?
You have the files. What is being released now?
They had a
Aren't those investigation files?
after Ghislaine Maxwell was sent to prison. Her case is not under appeal. Now you can release them.
Who's talking about releasing? I'm talking about charging the co-conspirator. Are you not getting this?
Does the
Everyone who's
federal
listening is
government have
is
access to
seeing
all
you,
that
is
stuff?
seeing how you're like not tracking. How they had these files
Bless
for
your heart.
years.
Bless your
They
heart.
can
Who's
charge
they? Who's
anyone
they?
else.
Who's
They don't
they?
have to wait.
Who's
They don't
they?
have to wait for Ghislaine
Who
Maxwell's
had the
case to get
files?
finished or hers appeals.
Yes, they
They
do.
can charge other co-conspirators.
How do
Do you
they charge
understand
them?
that?
What do
It's
they
not
look at?
dependent
What do they
on
look
whatever
at when they're
happens in
charging
Ghislaine
people?
Maxwell's case.
What evidence are they having? What do
You
they have?
understand that they're not limited to who they can
Romo,
charge,
you're
right?
super emotional. I need you to listen. What would they be looking at as evidence to start bringing charges?
Oh, wait a minute. So, okay, so it sounds like your argument now is that this was a one-person ring, and then all these thousands of girls were being brought to one guy, Jeffrey Epstein. Is that your
According
argument?
to the people who got Epstein his deal, Epstein, he didn't see a day in prison because he died. But Ghislaine Maxwell, yes, she was pinned. He got 55 months. She got years, the rest of her life in prison. So yeah.
So you feel
the
you
Justice
think
Department
only
and
one
Alex
guy?
Acosta thought it was appropriate for only Ghislaine Maxwell to see life in prison, and
So
Trump
you think
thought
only
it was nice too. He wished
all
her
those
well.
thousands of girls were trafficked just by Epstein? You think that was only one guy that did all that?
No, I think it was Trump and his friends and
There you go.
all
Okay,
the people that
there you go. Why
ran
didn't
fucking
the
teenage
Biden
beauty
administration?
pageants.
Why didn't the Biden? Okay, I agree with
Who
you.
was the head
Why
of the
didn't the
DOJ?
Biden administration charge Howard Lutnick?
Who
Why
was,
didn't they charge Howard
who was the
Lutnick?
head of the DOJ?
I'm asking you, why didn't
I'm
the
helping you
Biden's
learn.
DOJ
Who was the
charge
head of the who was the
Howard
AG?
Lutnick that said that he had went to the island and brought all these girls,
Who
even
was
mentioned
the
them,
AG?
even mentioned the ages of the girls that were on the boat with him.
Who is the AG?
Why are you avoiding this question?
Because I'm helping you understand. Who is the AG?
Merrick Garland,
Oh dang. Who appointed Merrick Garland?
Biden.
Really?
Well, yeah. Wasn't Merrick
Merrick-
Garland the AG for the Biden administration?
Yeah, he was also, I believe, for under Trump too.
Okay. So again, let me ask you, why didn't Biden's DOJ, Merrick Garland, charge Howard Lutnick with a crime? But he said he went to the island. Why didn't he investigate him?
I don't know.
I don't
Did
know.
we
Maybe
have that
because they were all
information?
involved in it.
Did we have that
That's
information?
the answer.
Did we
That's
have
the
that
answer. They were
information?
all involved in it.
Did
They
we
were
have
all
that?
involved in it. Democrats
Did we have that?
and Republicans, and they chose not
Did
to
we
charge
have
any of
that?
them.
Did we have that information?
These are the DOJ. Do you not see the dates? Have you not looked into the Epstein files? And you haven't. I'm surprised you have an opinion on this and you haven't read it.
Who had them under seal? Was it state or federal?
You're talking about a single criminal case.
Is it
Why
under
do you?
seal?
You don't understand like that. This doesn't stop the DOJ from charging
you sweet little summer
co-conspirators.
child.
Do you not understand
You
that?
sweet summer
You're talking
child.
about like a case like against Ghislaine Maxwell. You're saying it's sealed. Got it.
Yeah.
Who's talking about that? So
Yeah,
what?
all of those.
That doesn't mean they
all of-
can't charge co-conspirators. They can charge co-conspirators even though there's a pending criminal case against one of the co-conspirators.
Mhm. Yeah.
That would be a weird way for our justice system to work if they can't charge other co-conspirators in a conspiracy. In other words,
So-
you're saying basically they can only charge one person within a conspiracy. That doesn't make any sense.
I didn't say that. I said that the files.
That's what you're suggesting.
Holy
You're
crap.
suggesting that because you keep
talk-
saying,
you're
"Oh, the case was
overtalking me.
sealed."
You're steamrolling. All right, I let you finish. I'm just gonna have to mute you for a second. All right. So all of this information that was used to criminalize Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, all these people, it was under state seal because it was now a state. It was a state prosecution. So if it was a federal prosecution, if Alex Acosta and all of his Epstein class friends didn't get it pushed down to a state level, while Trump was in office, by the way, I don't know. Maybe, or actually, that was 06. The second part, when Alex Acosta was in when the labor secretary, Trump was in office the first time, he was being arrested. Nobody else got arrested. Ghislaine Maxwell, who he wished well, it doesn't seem like Trump was trying to get all of these people with charges brought. He was really quiet about it. Epstein died under his watch mysteriously, conveniently. But all of the stuff that would be used to criminalize this ring of people was under seal, under state charges, with Ghislaine Maxwell saying, no, you cannot have access. Her lawyer said, you cannot have access to this stuff. It is under appeal.
Okay, you just I've already explained to you that's not how it works. You're talking about a single case. Sure, I'll even grant you you're right. I even grant you're right that they cannot unseal records, which doesn't make any sense anyways. But because it's a continuing legal process. I mean, criminal cases in our country are public, but whatever. I'll just grant you that, just for
Criminal cases.
for argument's sake. That doesn't stop the DOJ from going after the other co-conspirators. No other person has been charged in relation to the Epstein trafficking scandal other than Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay.
Trump's first 4 years in office.
And that was done. And also the Biden administration did the same thing. They didn't talk about it because they were in on it. They all knew about it.
Trump
We weren't
knew
doing
all about
that
it, right?
because
Since
we were
2006.
protecting Mossad or CIA operations to run this blackmail operation against politicians and rich people in the country. I mean, that's the scandal that we've allowed foreign intelligence agencies, probably even the Russians, definitely Israel and the Mossad, and probably even our own CIA.
Who do you
And
think was in
that's
bed
the
more
reason
with-
they didn't bring it up.
Who do
It's
you
a very simple.
Who do you think was
it's
more
Occam's
in bed?
razor.
Who do you think was more bad?
You've
with
heard of
Israel?
Occam's razor, right? I mean, it's a very simple explanation.
So
they were both in
because
on it.
Biden didn't politicize the Epstein files, he definitely was a part of it, even though he's nowhere.
Right.
near it.
It's
None of
like
his
if you
people
don't
are
bring
anywhere
something
near
up,
it.
you're protecting
Can
someone.
you tell me
Yeah.
like the 7 degrees of separation between Biden
Are you
and
really, do you
Epstein?
really think that you just telling the other guy there's always going to be corruption in our country? Even asked them, what country doesn't have corruption?
Uh-huh.
And now you're pretending there's no corruption on the Democratic side? Come on, give me a break.
Can you tell me can you connect
Didn't you
Biden?
tell the other guy you were talking to there's always
go
going to
ahead
be
and
corruption?
give me connect Biden to Epstein. Go ahead, give me a few names.
So weren't you telling the other guy before me that there's always going to be corruption? Weren't you just saying that?
Yeah, but now you're just making.
Give me a
that
country
mean.
where there's no corruption. I'm gonna ask you the question you asked him. Give me a question.
There are no
country
countries with
there's
no
no
corruption.
corruption. Exactly,
You're
right?
prescribing the exact
So
type
you
of
but
corruption.
you want to believe that it's only on the Republican side there's corruption? Come
I
on,
think
give
it's
me
like
a break.
1,000% on the Republican side. I think
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
20% on ours.
All right, you're lost, dude. You're just lost. All right, I can't talk to someone this dense. Sorry, I gotta drop.
Yep, I don't blame you. He's like, since there's corruption everywhere, there has to be this exact type of corruption on your side.
Your place to work.
Hello?
The workbench for you. Must be Sage's workbench.
I don't think he knows he's in here. He was losing to Iran. Yeah, I know. He like overtalks and steamrolls. It's annoying. Somehow Biden is implicated for not politicizing the Epstein files, for not weaponizing the Department of Justice like Trump has. They find it totally appropriate what Trump has done, weaponizing the Department of Justice, and they go, why didn't Biden do that? They're so un-American, they prescribe their un-American ideas to us and say, why didn't we do that? Biden did do that. That's everyone was saying he was doing that. Nobody was saying that Biden did that. Biden, in the first person in history to openly truth to Pam Bondi and say, hey, you need to go arrest these people, and then her do it. It's a little different than anything you can point to on our side. What's up, Joseph?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Yeah, you were just kind of sort of falling apart there, but I just want to like ask you a question. What did you mean? What was your point when you were saying that you thought Merrick Garland worked for Trump?
You're right. He didn't.
No, I know, but you were thinking that. What were you, if he
I was thinking
what was
Chris
the point
Wray. I
of
was
it?
thinking FBI, which would probably be the people investigating this, right?
No, what I'm asking you is what was your point in saying that though?
Every time someone says that the federal government was corrupt under Trump, it was usually Trump's appointees overseeing that. When Trump is a victim to the corrupt government, like the FBI agents in front of at J6, that was during Trump's term. No one seems to remember that Trump's appointees, Chris Wray, were in charge of the FBI. All of the people that were in charge for investigating child sex trafficking, state to state, a nationwide thing, that'd be FBI, that'd be Chris Wray. And if he had charges to bring, has nothing to do with Biden. Has nothing to do with Biden. If somebody in the DOJ, the FBI, they wouldn't go ask permission Biden to go do things or ask him, hey, what do we work on today? That's not how that functions.
Well, you're definitely 100% wrong there, but the point is, for Trump supporters like myself, Trump's claim to fame was that he was able to spot good talent, good people, good picks.
That didn't really
And
happen, though.
obviously, it did not. Chris Wray was terrible. He's part of the swamp. That was one of his very worst picks. I mean,
Trump
he couldn't be worse.
Trump tends to pick corrupt people, is what you're telling me?
No, I'm saying that
Yes. That's what you said.
more than I'm saying more than what I would like. Yes, they were bad picks.
95%
not everyone. He's had a lot of great picks.
Every time somebody in his first administration, 95% left, right? He had a 95% turnover, which is unheard of. And they all came out, wrote books, said he was a fascist, said he was a national security.
Yeah, John
risk.
Kelly. Yeah,
everybody came out.
Yeah,
not just John
yeah.
Kelly. Mark.
Because like the last guy was just saying, it's you have to admit it's on both sides. John Kelly was a Republican. He was terrible. The other guy was a Democrat.
Mark Esper.
You know, Flynn.
No, but like
dude, Flynn was a Democrat. He was hired by Obama.
Okay, I'm talking about like Mark Esper, Larry Summers, which was actually Obama's
all part of the
Treasury
swamp.
guy.
Yep.
He turned out to be in the Epstein files, and that was the guy trying to run defense for Trump and shitting on Biden's economy for no reason, which makes total sense.
All part of the swamp, bro.
No,
can
you name the part of the
Trump?
swamp? Can you connect Biden's like
95% of it, 98% of it?
Can you connect Biden's administration to Epstein?
Listen, I hate to use that last guy's same words, but you know, Occam's razor is here. Look.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We have Trump in office, right? Before he got elected the second time, you threw everything you could at him. Illegal searching of Melania's bedroom.
No one threw anything at him. He did this. We can now see that he bends the rules. He doesn't give a fuck about any rules.
Okay. Can you just hold on? Can you just agree with me? I understand you don't, but just for my argument, agree with me. You threw all the illegal court cases at him. You did
They weren't
all this
illegal.
stuff. You shot him. He got
Now,
shot
y'all
for
did.
crying out loud.
Y'all did.
So listen. If you didn't want him to be president, and none of that stuff worked, because it obviously didn't work because he became president, right? And he was in the Epstein files that our swamp government has had for years and years. If you were Biden or somebody in his sphere, why wouldn't you take it? Why wouldn't you use that against Trump before he became president?
Why didn't we weaponize
And
the
Occam's
DOJ?
razor
Got
says
it.
because there is nothing in there.
No.
Biden's
He did not weaponize
DOJ
it.
didn't do anything.
He didn't weaponize it. He had
But you
a full
weaponized
pandemic.
everything else.
No, he didn't. No, he
You
didn't.
weaponized
Can you show
every.
me-
You
can you show
weaponized
me-
the.
Can you show me where Biden directed the DOJ to do that?
Yes, they had meetings for Fulton County with Fannie, whatever her name is,
Can you
Fannie,
sh-
Fat
can- Does
Fannie.
that prove that Biden directed Fannie Willis to do this?
Yes.
No.
What is a small town county
She ran on that.
prosecutor
She ran on
coming to the White House for a time and time again before and while the court case was going on? Are
Right.
you kidding me? You can't be that
That
naive.
doesn't show Biden telling her to do it. So we have Trump telling people publicly to
Ma-
go arrest his political opponents. We have
Pickles.
him doing
Do you
executive
understand that
orders to do
85
it?
dude, do you understand that 85% of winning court cases are won on circumstantial evidence? So give me this, forget your stone cold evidence. Do you have, Biden's lips recorded telling Fat Fanny to get out
I'm
of here,
asking
bro?
for anything.
You know what
have
she was
Fannie
going there
going
for.
to the White House. That's it. We have Trump.
That is good enough
Okay.
circumstantial evidence while she was in the middle of the biggest court case
She
of her
ran
life
this.
against
She ran on
Biden's
it.
opponent.
She ran on it.
Against Biden's opponent. No, the one in New York did. Against Biden's
Oh.
opponent.
Oh yeah, Fannie. Okay, so first of all, I'm assuming that there might be some extra hurdles before you go prosecute a former president. There might be some White House meetings. I get that.
Oh, you're
But-
so
But we have
you're so
nothing
generous.
we have nothing but evidence that Trump did these things and that Trump doesn't care for the law. He doesn't give a flying fuck. You guys love that about him, by the way. You're not
Yeah,
gonna
because you
pretend
were trying to set him
that
up.
this
He's
was
never
something-
going to jail. He's
No,
never
this
losing
is-
any money.
This is
It's never
just
going to
y'all
happen.
this is just you beating your chest. This is stupid. You're rooting for a man who's ultimately corrupt, who has skimmed through being corrupt, pulling all the strings he
No,
can to
no,
escape
no,
justice.
you're missing the whole point. Look, I don't like all the Israel love. I hate it, as a matter of fact, from Trump. I hate that he's picked bad people. I hate it. I hate it that he hasn't
bad
drained the
picker.
swamp as quick as I want.
He is the
Yes,
swamp.
I hate that he hasn't all that stuff. I'm with you, but I have the ability to say that. You don't have the ability to say that. Democrat Party and Republican Party is two sides of the same frickin' bird, bro.
No, you just this. You guys don't look past anything besides the soap opera in the news. You don't know anything.
Not all the fake stuff. No,
No,
it was
no,
all
like,
fake.
I mean it
it was all
very-
trumped up charges.
No, I believe very literally that Republicans have no interest in actual legislation, in the economy, in anything meaningful at all for our country. They only look at this, like the movie going on.
Yeah,
news,
you know
and
what, though,
They are
Pickles? That-
stupid.
But that's the problem. That is the problem. What you just said is the problem. You just called me a Republican, which I am not. I am a Christian. I told you this
Oh,
before.
God.
I am a conservative, and then I have some libertarian stuff in there too. And to be honest with you, I have some liberal stuff in me.
Okay, I don't care. Anything that makes you vote right of liberal is usually your feelings, usually some sort of indoctrination. If anybody
No,
were to
it's
wake
because,
up,
like John Fetterman says, you can't vote for these
Again.
Democrats because they're losing their minds.
there you go. That's
And
all
he's
I
a
need to
stroke
do-
victim.
If I were to wake up tomorrow knowing nothing about politics, and I were to go look at the two parties, and I were to look at numbers, I were to look at the way they talked to and handled like cultural differences in the nation, how they led the people. If I just went and looked at that and how they performed in every way, there would be no reason to choose a Republican ever. You would have to be heavily indoctrinated with watching whatever
Okay,
news you watch.
okay.
There's
Yeah.
no reason ever.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Ask
meaning that
John
very
Fetterman.
literally. Okay, again,
Ask John Fetterman.
I don't care. John Fetterman, no one trusts him right now on our side.
Right, because he's calling you out because you guys' policies are totally ridiculous when it comes to the social policies.
It's just confirmation. Can you tell me a social policy we did that was weird?
Men can't have babies.
Okay, that's not a policy. No one's even ran on that. See how you're just indoctrinated with some weird idea about
transsexual surgery.
Okay, that's
doing surgery on children.
Can you tell me the law we've been proposing for that? Or were you?
Yeah, you haven't been making it illegal.
You're making it. You've been brainwashed by propaganda to make you think that we're doing that kind of stuff. None of us have done anything like that. None of us.
Do you think a child should have a transsexual surgery?
No.
Cutting off their genitalia?
No, I don't. No, nobody on our side,
Good.
none of our leaders, none of our politicians have said anything about that. You guys are brainwashed. You guys are being brainwashed.
What about men in Olympic? What about men in Olympic sports against women?
Can you tell me a politician that's pushed for that? Go ahead.
All of them.
Can you
on
tell
your
me
side.
Which can you name one?
Near. I'm not going to say all of them.
Can you name one person?
Near 90+%.
This is what y'all did the last election cycle. Y'all came to us with this trash, this garbage about men and women.
Oh, and you still lost. So what does that say about you?
Again, nobody came forward with this. You guys are brainwashed to think we've done this to you. We didn't do anything to you.
No, you did it to yourself. That's the point.
No, we didn't. You guys are just using divisive.
You still lost.
You're just using wedge issues. You guys are brainwashed.
No, we just like traditional, normal family values.
Right.
That's it.
That doesn't mean anything. You like a guy that has 5 kids with 3 different wives who cheated on all of them?
No, I don't like that. I wouldn't do that.
That's your guy. All right, Biden had a traditional family.
He's a pedophile. He does it in public.
Okay, Trump had teen beauty pageants, man.
Right, he was the owner.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah. And where's your evidence that he ever did anything to those? We have evidence on film of Biden.
We have Trump saying that he liked to walk into these women's changing rooms, bragging about it.
Okay. And he was allowed to. He's the owner.
Oh my God, you're a horrible person.
Biden touched teenage breasts all the time on camera.
That's never happened. That never. You just made that right up.
No, it's all over the place, dude.
Can you show me the video? Hi, Amy.
Hey, Pickles. How are you?
Dude,
Good.
there's a million of them, dude.
There's not a single
Hey,
one.
there's just a million
to
of them.
say that. This is you reaching.
Dude, there's so many out there. I am not going to even dignify this with even talking about it anymore.
Trump constantly sexualizes his own daughter. He's done it on TV. Multiple people from his administration have come out and said he sexualizes his own daughter. It's fucking weird. When asked what he has in common with her, she said real estate and golf. He said sex.
Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Yep. So let's see. Nancy Pelosi is pushing for national sex change policies for kids. I mean, that was in 2025, dude. August.
What did she push for? What was it?
ACLU sues Trump, which ACLU gets all their money from Democrats. Sues Trump. Can somebody mute themselves?
Are you hearing the clicking? Because just so you know what the clicking is, Pickles, I'm finding this interesting because obviously I, as a trans person, followed the election very closely because of, it was going to affect my rights very strongly. And what is interesting, Pickles, is the clicking sound is because I'm on the ACLU website actually looking at what they're tracking for anti-LGBTQ bills in the country right now. And as of the 12th, which was, 8 days ago, we are looking at 420 anti-LGBTQ bills being brought forth in this country by Republicans. And I find it interesting, Pickles, because I don't know if you remember this, but I only remember Kamala ever talking about trans people one time, where she simply said she would follow the law about trans people in prison being able to get gender affirming care, which is the same actually law that I believe Donald Trump followed, right? It actually came under into law under his previous administration. So it's almost like the Democrats, which I really hate this, right? The Democrats allowed only one side of this story, one narrative to be told, the one that spent like $250 million on anti-trans ads during the election. And only from like August to November, they spent like $250 million, the Republicans did, right, on these anti-LGBTQ ads. And Democrats really hung us out to dry because we didn't have anyone on our side like speaking for us, right? So the American public only heard one side of this. And what they aren't paying attention to is like what every major medical organization agrees with is that trans people are valid and that gender affirming care saves lives. But we weren't pushing for anything. Like even Donald Trump in his first term said that he's fine with trans people using whatever bathroom they want. I mean, Pickles, am I crazy here? Or does it sound like there's a specific side of the aisle that's actually talking about this and another side, which you would think would be on our side, that's just honestly hanging us out to dry and like fucking us over by being silent?
I think it's the like most stereotypical like thing where
You're
we
really
fight over
quiet,
something.
Pickles. You're quiet.
It's on you.
No, because I hear the other guy fine.
It's a girl.
I hear the other person just fine.
All right.
Better. That's better.
Test.
Okay.
I mean, his language was better, not the mic necessarily. You sound fine to me, Pickles.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Well, look. To go back to what this person here is saying. What's the person's name? Emma.
My name is Emmy, with the Y, like the TV awards. Yep.
Okay. What you're saying is fine. I could probably agree with you on much of what you just said, but you're not talking about what I'm talking about. Whether you're trans, whether you're straight, whether you're whatever, I don't care if you're a Martian from outer space, okay? A doctor or a parent performing a sex change surgery on a child is sick. And if you don't think it's sick, you're sick.
I do agree. The thing is, I don't see it happen. The thing is, Joseph, it doesn't happen. Like when we look at the data on it, that doesn't happen. That's literally a red herring ghost that they throw out to you guys to chase after. But can you show me data on this? Because it literally doesn't happen, Joseph.
Well, it doesn't happen in England anymore.
In fact, you know what does happen, Joseph? You know what's interesting that does happen, Joseph? Actually, it doesn't happen here because it literally doesn't happen here. It goes against every major medical organization's guidance on how to treat trans children, including the W Path, which is the world's organization for how to treat trans patients. I've read through those guidelines. You can read them online, and it actually advises against that. So it doesn't happen, Joseph. Can you provide proof that it happens?
You keep talking about adults. I'm not talking about adults.
No, I'm talking about
children.
To the point. I'm talking about children. I'm literally talking about children. Listen, hang on, Joseph. You need to hang on. Let me really quickly. Let me explain something to you. That WPATH, if you actually read the materials, right? The organization designed to guide what trans healthcare looks like for all individuals has a specific guidance for children, a specific guidance for adolescents, and a specific guidance for adults, right? Every major medical organization, from the Endocrine Society to the American Academy of Pediatrics and all the psychiatric societies, they all agree on what these guidelines should be. And you cannot give me proof, Joseph, that this is happening, that gender-affirming surgeries are happening on children.
Well, then why did the Plastic Surgery Society, which houses 98% of all plastic surgeons in America, why did they just come out with a position statement on it that said they will not be doing that on children? Why did they have to do that?
Nobody in the because like the rest of the medical field, they agree that this should not be done on children, and that's why it's not being done on children. They're simply agreeing with what the rest of what I agree.
Backwards.
No. Literally, you told me just now that what they said is that this should not happen on children. And what I'm telling you is the rest of the medical community agrees with that. And so do parents of trans kids, and so do trans adults.
No. It was the position.
I'm just using your logic.
The position before was that they were doing it. And now they've seen how bad it is for the.
Show me that. They never said that. No, they were. Show me that they were saying that beforehand. Can you please bring me the evidence of that? Because that is not true.
Listen, I don't have to do all your homework for you. Go on their
Joseph,
website.
you
It's
think
all
I don't
there.
look into these things? I'm asking you for a reason
Dude.
to show me why you're saying
Okay.
this, because I look
Listen,
into
Emmy,
these
Joseph,
things.
please,
Joseph,
respectfully, I would
stop.
like to answer Pickles.
No. Again, no one on our side is doing anything outside of the science. No one's pushing for that. Y'all are. Y'all don't know anything.
Can I
You
just
guys are a
say
bunch of
one
weird
thing without being
Christians.
interrupted?
Yeah.
Pickles, can I say one thing? Governor Gavin Newsom of California and State Senator Scott Wiener, who is also a Democrat from San Francisco, supported and signed California SB 107 trans refuge protections, explicitly defending access to gender affirming care for kids.
Yes. Do you know what that means? Do you know what gender affirming care, according to medical guidelines, is? It is not surgeries, dumbass. Like, I'm sorry to go there. I'm sorry to say dumbass, but like literally, no, I'm not naive. I've read through the medical guidelines on this because as a trans person myself, I wanted to know what they said. I have read through all of WPATH's guidance on all of this. I have gone through this stuff myself, and I have talked to my therapist, who also is a therapist for children who go through a gender affirming care, and asked them specifically on the guidance that they get.
Great. Governor Tim Walz signed Minnesota Executive Order 23-03, which defines gender affirming health care services to include medical and surgical services.
Yes, because it should, as it was that specifically.
Dude, I am crushing you guys.
That
like
language literally does not talk only about children, Joseph. It's talking about giving access to all trans people to gender affirming care. And gender affirming care, Joseph, means therapy. Do you not want trans kids to go through therapy and get this sorted out and figure out if they're trans? That is gender affirming care, my guy.
You call it like a pretzel, right? This is called a pretzel? Is that what it's called?
I think you're in a pretzel, yeah.
You're called uninformed, Joseph. You are called an argument from ignorance, Joseph. That you embody argument from ignorance. It's sad.
Beliefs outside of science. We uphold no beliefs outside of science. We just follow you guys are coming to us with these knee-jerk reactions because Republicans have brought these hot button issues to you to freak you out because you guys are a bunch of weird conservatives living in a bubble out in the fucking country. You've never seen a fucking gay person or a trans person in your life, and they just paint these people.
I live in New Jersey, brother.
They other these people so that you can think we're weird and that you're on the sane side. None of us have done.
Bro, you're in Texas. I'm in Jersey. Don't tell me about demographics, bro.
Yeah, I live in Dallas, which is very liberal.
Dallas has a huge queer community.
It ain't as liberal as New Jersey. New Jersey, the state. You know that?
Again,
New Jersey, literally the oil and petrochemical state, dude. Like, you guys are the joke of the Northeast. I'm in New York, dude. And as far west as like Western New York, we can't stand New Jersey. You guys pollute like no others.
So why do you bring all your polluted material here from Staten Island? Fill material and other stuff.
Because like you guys take it. You guys love it.
Right.
You
So
guys
you're the
love
one doing
rolling
the
in
polluting.
shit. Like,
Yeah,
look, I
so you're doing
understand
the
that New
polluting.
Jersey is diverse. I understand what you're saying. Dallas is just as diverse as New Jersey. I bet you can pull up diversity scores on that, on gender specifically. And so, like, I'm not saying that you haven't encountered, like, Pickles isn't saying you haven't encountered a trans person in public, that you haven't seen one or seen someone that you think is trans and are assuming is trans. What he's saying is, have you ever, like, my argument here is that you've only heard one side of this because fucking Democrats have been silent on the issue. But, like, have you ever sat down yourself and talked to a trans person and actually listened to the other side of this? I don't know.
No,
I fucking, you know why? You know why, Joseph? Joseph, this is why. I'll tell you why they're silent. Joseph, I'll tell you why they're silent. Because look, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not MAGA by any means. But I'm pissed at the Democrats. I'm with you. Why were they silent?
I'm pissed at the
They were
Republicans.
silent, and they are silent right now, and they are telling us that they're silent right now because one side of the aisle got a hold of a narrative. And they literally only Americans heard one side. And so now they've only heard this side that you're spouting off right now. And what's happening is that Democrats are pussies. I'm hearing it from Democrats. Sorry for using that word, but Democrats are fucking cowards, okay? And what they're doing is they're saying that right now, trans people are not polling well in public because they've only been fed one side of this. And we're going to go with what's polling well because we want to win elections. I fucking hate them for that. The Democrats are always like this, dude. Joseph, like, we can agree with a hate for Democrats on this, okay? I
and we
hate
could agree
Democrats
with
for this.
hateful
They have
Republicans
fucked
on
my
other
life
things.
over royally, Joseph. Do you know that I
Yeah.
can get fired from a job just for being trans now? That is legal under federal law?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's not cool, is it, Joseph? I shouldn't
Listen,
be
I own
fired
my
just
own
because
business.
I'm
I own my
trans,
own
right?
business. I don't give a crap who you sleep with, what you look like. All I care is that you do your job.
Right. So you disagree with Trump's executive order then that reversed the Bostock decision that said that we are protected in cases about hiring and firing from being discriminated against because of our gender identity. You think that's a problematic thing, right, Joseph?
Well, let me speak to that in a specific area. So if you have a trans person or a gay person or somebody else in a school setting, like say a teacher, and they're trying to tell the kids that men can have babies.
So we're talking about so keep in mind where executive orders reach. We're talking about federal jobs, dude.
Well,
So we're
okay,
talking
I'm just
about
saying, if
federal
there was a
jobs is what they actually have control over. But I mean, like, even in that case, no, I'm
what-
sorry, it does go as far as like hiring, but for firing, you can't fire that person just for being trans. If there's evidence that that person is telling listen, Joseph, let me explain my stance
I'm
here.
about to agree with you.
If that person, and I'm about to agree with you on some things here, if that person is bringing sexualizing material or teachings into that classroom, fucking fire them. That is dangerous.
Yeah.
We do not stand
Amen.
for that on this side of the aisle.
Whether it be about a virgin getting pregnant or anything else, I think all of that should
Amen,
stay away
bro.
from our children.
Say amen, Pickles. Do it. Say
But
amen.
Joseph,
Say it.
what about teaching kids that I exist as who I am and that science also says that we are who we are and that history says that? What about just telling children that, hey, yes, Timmy's mother is trans, like when another kid brings it up and says that some people are like this and then leaves it at that? What is deserving of firing?
I want to get back to the federal firings, but I'm going to answer that real quick, and then can we get back to the federal firings because it got something.
Yeah, because it does excuse it does because it goes. Yes, we can continue this because it does go into private protections as well.
Okay, so with talking about the way you are, who you sleep with, who you identify with, how you identify yourself, and all that stuff in a school, my answer to that would be, I wouldn't have that big of a deal with it if we weren't, as a country, failing math. Kids can't speak. They don't know how to produce.
This isn't in curriculums, though, Joseph. This isn't in curriculums.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm
if
just
we
saying
get so what you're saying is if we get all our other problems in education figured out, then trans people can be able to work in education. But until we figure out literacy and all these other things, the people who are passionate to teach that we can't hire enough of can't be in those settings simply because they exist the way they do.
No, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that our focus, we are so focused, and not just trans or gay stuff, we're focused on all kinds of social stuff
you cannot articulate that. You cannot articulate that that's being focused on in school at all. You can't.
Oh, yes, I can, by the lack of scores.
No.
Show me that it's because of talking about trans people or gay people, or that just like it's because we exist in those spaces.
Joseph,
it's not just that. It's everything.
Where do they determine curriculum, Joseph? Is it state, city, local? Where do they do that?
Okay, so in New Jersey, it's the state school board, runs down to the township school boards. And most of the time, it's just the same. Sometimes a township might be able to.
Can you show me one township that has tried to inject this into the actual curriculum?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So many of them. They put books in the library that you wouldn't believe that show a hetero.
That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. No matter what country you visit, you will find a book in a library somewhere. We're a country of 350 million people. There's tons of books and tons of libraries. That doesn't mean we're out.
No, it was in the curriculum. I can get back to you on that and show you the curriculum. Because I was going.
I've got it here. I've got it. You're talking about 2019. New Jersey became the second state to pass a law requiring public schools to include LGBTQ inclusive instruction.
Oh my God, Pickles! I love this person.
So
can
listen,
you keep him or her around, please?
Okay, and
her, thank you. It's in my profile. Like honestly, Joseph, I'm here to be respectful with you. I'm not and every time you throw things at me like that, I've taken it really well. And so like
No, you're
all
right.
you're
I
doing is
apologize.
discrediting yourself by like literally like trying to discredit my
100%
humanity
right.
here, right? Okay.
Yes, you're 100%
So just
right. I
please use she,
apologize.
her pronouns with me. That's as simple as this
Yep.
is. Like,
Cool.
and if you knew me in life, Joseph, I just want to tell you, like, if you knew me in life, you would see
we
that
would get
I
along.
am.
I already
Well,
know.
no, we probably wouldn't because you voted for things that have literally hurt me.
Well, then that's your
However,
fault. Then you have to grow up.
no,
That's
no,
immaturity
because
on your
here's
part.
no, it's not, because that's called victim blaming, my guy. I didn't ask for this, right? Like when these things are hurled at us and this world becomes so like
A lot of stuff's
crazy
hurled at me.
that right, but it's not as dangerous for you because Joseph, are you also white? Like me?
Oh, here you go. Yeah.
No, I'm just
the worst
asking.
thing you could be, a white man.
A
Yes.
straight white man.
A white
I
married
know.
Christian man. The worst thing
And
could be
dude,
in
and
America.
it sucks having that narrative thrown around about you, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? That you're just like
But
the
I'm not
worst
gonna
thing in
cry
the
about it. I'm
world,
just
and that
gonna
you
move
are
forward.
all of the world's problems, Joseph. That sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess what? That's what we're experiencing, and all we want to do is fucking live. Welcome to the hell that we live, Joseph.
Yeah. Well,
welcome to the hell that I live in every day. All right, because the
you
things
don't
that you
get it
so
from
like
other people, you get it from
Joseph,
the TV.
No, but
You're not
Joseph,
getting it from me.
Joseph, I'm getting it from you right now by the fact you don't want to use my pronouns, Joseph, because you don't want to recognize me as a human being.
I will call you her.
Listen, I put it in my name for a reason, Joseph. Like, and my name is Emmy. Like, come on. Okay. Well, that's on you, bud. Like, because it's the information's there. I'm putting it out there for you to see. But anyways, what I'd like to get to here is why I brought up this thing in New Jersey. Because there is a big difference between including LGBTQ inclusive instruction and teaching kids things that are inappropriate. LGBTQ and stuff, because look, this is the scope of it. The curriculum covers some historical figures because American history is LGBTQ history. Okay, we have been at every major historical event, and we have existed in every war that this country has fought. It talks about some literature, yes, because what that means is that when someone's perspective on life, like growing up queer, and influences their work, and it shows how they perceive the world, that's going to be discussed in class, because that's appropriate to teach kids how to explore other people's experiences in life and show them that they are not the only people that experience the world the way, like in one way, right? Like there are other people experience it differently.
I fundamentally disagree with you 100%. Sorry.
But it is okay to teach kids that other people exist differently than them.
What is 2 plus 2? That's all I want to know. That is not
cool.
Right.
That's
that is
cool.
not.
But here's why it's important, Joseph. Because what happens is that we know that kids, like, so there's this other thing going on, right? I'm not trying to change the subject. I'm just showing you that this is really happening, is that there are states trying to pass laws that if a kid expresses some sort of thing about their gender identity or sexuality to a teacher that they trust, that this has to be brought to the parents. It's legally required. That is problematic because let me tell you, as someone who was abused as a trans child, that would have been so unsafe for me. And it was unsafe when at 16 years old, someone tried to out me about my sexuality alone. It was literally dangerous for me and my family. Because of the way my family treated me.
I get that, but a lot of people get abused that are straight.
Children.
A lot of people that
Right, and so that's the whole thing, though, Joseph. That's the whole thing. Is when you require this, that means that you are you are instigating moments of assault in the home when you are making sure that parents know things about their children that they're going to hate.
40%.
You're absolutely wrong. You're so wrong.
40% of youth experiencing homelessness in the United States identify as LGBTQ. I'm in Texas. If I would have come out as gay, I probably would have been homeless. I have many friends that were. I know tons of people. And I lived in the gayborhood for 7 years. It's the literal stereotype of a gay person for their parents.
I mean, you are gay, just not in a sexual way. You are gay, just not in a sexual way.
I don't know what that means.
It was a joke, guys. Okay. Come on, please. Jeez,
it was a joke that didn't.
You guys are rough.
That is what happens. That is a truth. That's what you're prescribing to children when you want laws like that. You're prescribing homelessness,
bro. I feel bad for children that get abused, but parents are parents. They are in charge of the children, not the teachers.
They're not doing.
Right.
Sorry.
Teachers aren't.
But the
telling them what to
teachers,
do.
you know how like a teacher, if they see a bruise on a child that looks suspicious, they're required to report that to authorities because it means that they
That's
could
fine.
be that child could be in an abusive
Right.
home, right?
Yes.
And we
Yes.
need that reporting,
Yes,
right?
you report.
And so
you
in the
report to
same
the authorities and you report to the parents.
no, you do not report to the parents that the child might be getting abused because that tips off the parents that the authorities are onto this.
No.
Okay, what you do.
are-
So here's the thing, though, is what you are
perceive-
advocating for literally sends children home to homes
don't
where
know
the
that.
parents will be abusive, and you out them.
You
Yes,
are
I do.
assuming that.
Hang on, I'm pulling up
assuming it.
data on it right now. Give me just a moment.
You're assuming it.
I'm
You're assuming it.
I'm going to
data.
pull up data for you right now. The
The
2022
data
trans
doesn't matter
survey.
because
It does
the
because the
only
data
that would
shows us
make-
what happens,
only-
Joseph. Are you
the
that
only
dumb,
data-
Joseph? Are you
the
that
only data-
stupid?
Wow, I call you.
How else do we know
him,
these things
and
if we
I
don't
call
have
you him, and
data?
you call me stupid. I don't
Because
get it.
you are literally
only-
saying, how do we
the only
know
data-
anything about data? Like, how does data play into how? Because that's how we know things, Joseph. That's how
The
we
only
understand how the world works.
I didn't say that. You're not listening.
Oh my
The
God.
only data that would prove your point would be if it was 100%. And
Okay,
you're not
but
gonna
here's the
find that
thing.
data.
35% of adult respondents, this is over 80,000 trans people that were included in this survey, who said that some or all of their extended family members knew that they were trans and that their family members were supportive. So only 35% of the ones whose family knew were actually supportive of them. And 23% said that they were very supportive. So what we're seeing here is that the majority
Right.
of them said that they did not have supportive families. Among 16 and 17-year-old respondents who said that some or all of their extended family members knew that they were transgender, 35% said that their family members were supportive, and 13, so
Okay.
the number's even less for teenagers, were very supportive. So what we're seeing is
Okay.
when you get younger as a trans person, the likelihood of your family not being supportive is higher. And
Okay.
that leads to abuse in the home, because
Okay.
when it comes to harassment and violence, we also see that nearly 1 in 10 respondents reported that they were denied equal treatment because of their gender identity expression in the last 12 months. All this is over 12 months. Nearly a third
None of
reported that they were
none of
verbally
that is-
harassed. All of this
talk a
lead.
lot.
Joseph, I'm trying to paint a
You
picture with
talk a
data here
lot.
for you, so I have to show
I
you a
don't
few
want the
points
picture.
of data.
I want you to know one simple
I
thing.
know you
no
don't
matter
want the
what your
picture
data
because you
says,
don't want to acknowledge
no matter
reality,
what,
Joseph.
No, because I'm saying no matter what your data says, the parents must be informed. A teacher is not allowed to have a
No.
secret with a child.
It's not about having a secret with the child. It is literally about protecting the child, and they can still report to their principal if they
secrets.
think that this is going on, and they can report to that principal that that's going on, and they can try to handle it as a team
This right
together,
here-
rather than
Pickles,
automatically
this
being
right here-
required to out children to their parents.
This is the argument, Pickles, that you were asking me about. People, what me and Emmy are doing right now. This argument. This is why Trump won. Because Emmy's ridiculous.
But Joseph, no, here's the thing, though, is that your side is what's bringing the legislation that's causing this conversation in the first place.
And your
Children
side
were
isn't doing
protected
anything about it to
before.
back you.
I agree, and it sucks. I hate them for it. I don't like Gavin Newsom. If it's between him and Ted and JD Vance in the next election, I'm in New York. My vote doesn't fucking matter. I will not vote. And I'm not someone who says that lightly, because I believe that if you don't vote, you don't have a voice. But I will fucking vote for Kermit the Frog before I vote for Gavin Newsom. I'm not like a Gavin Newsom fan, dude. I'm sorry. I didn't realize he was gone. I wasn't looking at my phone. I was looking at data.
That's all right. Sarah, thank you so much for the kick. W Sarah's in the chat times 1,000. Sarah says Joseph sucks, absolute shit human being. Please kick. Sarah also with another $5 said Joseph, stop seeking about children's genitals. It's so creepy. That's true. The only political party running campaigns on children's genitals is the right.
Mm-hmm. And they're also the side that commits things like genital mutilation the most.
You guys
on
are trying
children.
to assimilate people into a society that they don't even know anything about. They're taught about it. So you're trying to assimilate. Kids don't grow up knowing about that. You teach them about that. So you're trying to assimilate kids into something they didn't know about. And then you're trying to disclude the parent. That is
Children who
Let's break that
that
down.
is. Excuse me, I'm not done talking. That is inherently disgusting, and
That's an accusation.
that.
That's an
That's a
accusation.
fact.
All right.
Kids do not grow. Kids are not born knowing about gender. Gender is a social construct.
Correct.
By the way,
Correct.
gender is a social construct. So it's
Correct.
taught.
They become aware
So
of it
you are
around 5
teaching
years
and
old.
assimilating. You are
No.
teaching and assimilating.
Chicken.
It is disgusting, and I'm done.
All right, Chicken.
Tell me how growing up in an anti-trans household assimilated me. Like, that makes no sense, dude. And you're running away. Like, why are you not in the app? Like, this is like, there's no data to show what you're saying, man. And kids who grow up with trans parents, they learn this. They learn it from the time that they're born, or that the time that they have those parents, right? Like,
Chicken.
why are you so?
Chicken was chirping in the comments for like an hour, and he came up and said that and ran. We
He's
can't
so
hear you when
mad
you're out.
about it.
He did. He ran. Very emotional. And the only doctrine I would say like is being taught that's harmful would be Christianity. I think like that is automatically giving you like unwarranted criticisms on people who are different that do exist. So on our side, we want to teach the world that a certain type of person exists. That is not a doctrine. That is real. That is factual. On your side, you want to teach kids that these people are invalid, that they are less or different or other. And that is harmful. That creates division. And they are not assimilating. Those kids are not coping with real life on life's terms because they are going to see and encounter those types of different people in their lives. And whether or not they're ready for it is up to you.
Yep. And you know, Pickles, the only thing I hear when I hear someone come up like that and just throw a temper tantrum and run is literally someone who has probably never traveled outside of their hometown, right? They've never seen that other cultures live differently. They've probably never watched a travel documentary, right? To even like know that other cultures exist other than their little tiny worldview. And they are so stuck inside this that they literally, all I heard was a child screaming, "No, the world is only the way I say it is," and throwing a temper tantrum. It is the most small-minded and small, like their world ends at their front stoop.
They're the ones trying to legislate cultural norms. We are not. We are trying to legislate protections against legislation of cultural norms.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you so much, Amy.
Yeah.
We love you. You're the best.
Love you too, Pickles. I'm glad I got to see you. I've been missing your lives a bit lately, but I've been having a hard time sticking around in political spaces a lot lately, but I always stick around here if I can hit you. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Love you, Pickles.
Love you,
Love you, chat.
All right. Chat, we're going to get to the next guest. If you enjoy the stream, don't forget to tap and give me a follow. There's also a Cash App and Venmo in the bio. If you guys are trying to support me, it's the best way to do it. Or become a super fan. It's like $10 a month. And it buys all of my herbal remedies. Hello? Hello? Zoe? They're also the ones that say when my kid left, they become radicalized. I so agree with that. The kids that grow up very like sheltered in religious households, it's not all the time, but when they do grow up, they rebel, and they're like, sometimes the outcomes are just crazy, unpredictable. Trump's live crying about the tariffs right now. I love that. Trump. Let's see. Trump's tariffs
been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement. I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide. With all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it, but we still won in a landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud. And I think certain justices are afraid of that. They don't want to do the right thing. They're afraid of it. This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security and also I would say, just for our country itself, so important because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, and also as recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States. And in actuality, I was very modest in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted to do, and it's very important, I wanted to be very well behaved because I wanted to do anything, I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court, because I understand the court. I understand how they are very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy. I have very
telling.
effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and
Wow, first time hearing it.
simultaneously, and even
First time ever hearing that.
more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P, two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said, you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all
You
of
can
the
barely read this.
Nobel Prize winners in economics. They said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. We broke every record in the book, and we're continuing to do so. Tariffs have likewise been used to end 5 of the 8 wars that I settled. I settled 8 wars, whether you like it or not, including India, Pakistan, big ones, nuclear, could have been nuclear. Prime Minister of Pakistan said yesterday at the great meeting that we had, the Peace Board, he said yesterday that President Trump could have saved 35 million lives by getting us to stop fighting. They were getting ready to do some bad things. But they've given us great national security, these tariffs have. And together with our strong borders, reduced fentanyl coming into our country by 30%.
F-drug Trump.
When I use them as a penalty against countries illegally sending this poison into our country to poison our youth. All of those tariffs remain. They all remain. I don't know if you know that or not. They all remain. We're still getting them, and we will after the decision. I guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those 3 people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries, certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting.
What a baby, dude.
But I am
How many
allowed to
people think
cut
this
off
man is a
any and
strong
all
man?
trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Because that's not what it says.
MAGA, send him donations.
And that's not the way it even reads.
He needs some donations.
I can
right
do
now,
anything I want to do to them, but I can't charge any money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them a little two-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything. Think of that. How ridiculous is that? I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you out of here. But if I want to charge them $10, I can't do that. It's incorrect. Their decision's incorrect. But it doesn't matter because we have very powerful
so sad he
alternatives
doesn't
that have been
absolute power.
approved by this decision.
It just really
You know, they've been
sucks.
approved by the decision for those that thought they had us. And they're saying that I have the absolute right to license, but not the right to charge a license fee. So think of that. I have the right to license, which is a very powerful word. In many ways, license is more powerful than tariffs. In fact, I was thinking about using it. But they came up with the idea that I can license, just like the people that were opposing me told them to do, but not the right to charge a license fee. Think of that. Who ever heard of such a thing? What license has ever been issued without the right to charge a fee? You get a license, you charge a fee. It's automatic, but not with this court.
It's not yours.
But now the court has given me the unquestioned right to ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, to destroy foreign countries. But a much more powerful right than many people ever thought we even had, but not the right to charge a fee. How crazy is that? Our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. And it was a dead country 1.5 years ago under an incompetent president. But now I'm going to go in a different direction, probably the direction that I should have gone the first time, but I read the language. I'm very good at reading language, and it read our way 100%, but now I'll go the way I could have gone originally.
You can't read.
Which is even stronger than our original choice. As Justice Kavanaugh, whose stock has gone so up, you have to see, I'm so proud of him, wrote in his dissent, although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. So, think of that. The decision might not substantially constrain. And it doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can charge much more than I was charging. So I'm going to just start. Although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. That's because numerous other federal statutes, which is so true, authorize the president to impose tariffs and might justify most, if not all, of the tariffs issued in this case. Even more tariffs, actually. Those statutes include, think of that, those statutes include, for example, the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, Section 232. All of these things I know so well. The Trade Act of 1974, Sections 122, 201, 301. And the Tariff Act of 1930, Section 338, all clear. But it's a little bit longer process. I thought I'd make things simple, but they didn't let us do that. I would like to thank Justice Kavanaugh for frankly, his genius and his great ability. Very proud of that appointment. In actuality, while I am sure that they did not mean to do so, the Supreme Court's decision today made a president's ability to both regulate trade and impose tariffs more powerful and more crystal clear rather than less. I don't think they meant that. I'm sure they didn't. It's terrible.
What?
And to think that the Democrats who oppose this only because they want to go the opposite way. They'd like to pack the court. They want to put on 21 people. They want to pack the court, pack the Supreme Court. Maybe they should do it. Maybe they would be better off if they did it. They want to pack the court. They want to do anything to hurt our country.
You packed the court.
There will no longer be any doubt, and the income coming in and the protection of our companies and country will actually increase because of this decision. I don't think the court meant that, but it's the way it is. It's based on long-standing law and hundreds of victories, and even, as I was pointed out before, even thousands of victories over the years. To the contrary, the Supreme Court did not overrule tariffs. They merely overruled a particular use of IEEPA tariffs. And essentially, it's used to get a fee. I can do anything I want with IEEPA, anything. I just can't charge anybody for it. I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways, numerous other ways.
Cope, buddy.
The ability to block, embargo, restrict, license, or impose any other condition
He's giving MAGA their
on
talking
a
points.
foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under AIPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, you know, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off.
Steve Miller writes these.
You took a look at the deficits that we had with some of these countries. It was disgraceful what they got away with for many, many decades. But now we know, because this decision affirms all those things that some people weren't sure about. In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed. Therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us. If you have a few questions, you can let us know. But just to end, so we're going forward, we will be able to take in more money, and there'll no longer be doubt, because there was always doubt. I know the people that brought the lawsuit, and you know they're sleazebags, major sleazebags, but I know them, and they're foreign country centric. They were sending things into our country, and the people representing them knew full well, but they were sending things into our country, and they were beneficial to other countries, but very, very bad for us. And I stopped it, and we'll just keep it going. So we have a totally firm decision now, and I don't think the court meant it, because the court doesn't show great spirit toward our country, in my opinion. A lot of bad decisions, but there are usually ways around it. This is something we could have done, as Justice Kavanaugh said, we could have done this originally, but we're doing it now, and the numbers could be far greater than the hundreds of billions we've already taken in. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm very curious. You've spoken about
in the red.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Justice Thomas and Alito, as you know, are the most conservative constitutional justices. Do you think that you'll get to appoint 2 more justices later this term with similar ideologies? And what type of vetting process will they go through to ensure they uphold?
I don't know, but they're great justices. That's all I can say. And I hope they're going to be around a long time. I hope they're going to stay healthy. They're great people. They're great. And Justice Alito, too, to add to the group. These are great men.
Right.
With a great love of our country and a great understanding of the law.
Mr. President, are you going to ask Congress to take additional action on tariffs now?
No, I don't need to. It's already been approved. I mean, I would ask Congress and probably get it. When people look at the real numbers, and you look at hundreds of billions of dollars that have come into our country. Yesterday, I was at a steel plant.
He still lies about how they work.
Great place, great plant, great, wonderful people.
Tariffs are paid from internally.
And they were telling me, I said to them, you were there, a lot of the press in this room. Of course, I don't think this plane's big enough to take the press in this room, but a lot of the press right here. We were in Georgia. And I said to the owner, I made a speech at a factory. They make steel products. And I said, how are you? Nice to meet you. How's business? President, I'd love to kiss you. This is a very powerful man. I don't want to be kissed by that man, but a very powerful, strong man. He's been in the steel business for many years. His father started it. And he said, sir, I want to kiss you. I said, why? He said, because we were down to working 1 hour a week, and then you came in and imposed tariffs, and all of that foreign junk that they were dropping into our country stopped. And we're
So you
now
just make it up a
going to
story?
double shifts, 7 days a week, and
my
we may
God.
be very soon going to 24 hours around
jobs
the clock,
numbers are
almost
horrible,
7
dude.
days a week. He said,
Jobs
sir, I
numbers are
want to kiss
horrible.
you so badly.
Your
And I
economy's
said, no,
shit.
thank you. But you know what? He just to finalize it, he said, "Oh, this is a great place in Georgia. All up and down the highway. Same exact answer, sir. We're all going out of business. We're going to go bankrupt. We're all going out of business, and now every one of us are thriving, and we're hiring people like we haven't." He said, "Like I've never." And he's been in business for, I think, 45 years, like we've never hired before.
I
That's
believe
because
that
of
your
tariffs.
friends are getting
And
rich.
we're going to keep it going
The
the same
country
way.
is not.
And you're going to start to see the results in a year from now when all those factories start that are under construction right now. You see all the construction numbers are so good. Those construction workers are building factories that are going to be open, including not only AI, which is big, but car plants coming in from Canada, who ripped us off for 30% of our market. Mexico ripped us off for a big portion. Over the years, they've taken our market. They've taken our cars. They manufacture them in Japan,
He wants to get
Germany, and all
angry.
over the place.
He wants to be angry.
Because nobody's standing in this position. The position I have as president of the United States had
And
the
he's the only
insight,
one
the
who can
courage.
fix
Well,
it.
I don't know what it is to charge tariffs. You can make your product outside. You can put our people out of business. You can
The
put
courts are
everybody on the
against you, is what he's
unemployment
saying.
rolls.
The Supreme
But if you're
Court's
going to make a
against the
car in
American
some other
people.
country, you're going to pay a 15,
he's a
20,
victim, and you're
30%
a
tariff.
victim.
And those things would have never happened. We wouldn't have lost our business. Same thing with, as an example, Taiwan. Taiwan came in. They stole our chip business. They make chips. For 30 years longer, they made chip. And they put our companies. Intel would be now the largest company. I saved Intel. I literally saved it at the beginning of this administration.
Oh my God, you fucked
And
over
now
Intel with
all those
Foxconn.
companies in Taiwan are building factories in Arizona, Texas, and various other places because they don't want to pay tariffs. They're all pouring into the United States. But just like that great patriot said yesterday, sir, what you've done, nobody thought was possible. And Steve Moore, a highly respected economist, came into my office yesterday. He said, you've done something nobody's ever done.
He just tells fairy
22
tales.
Nobel Prize winners in economics said we would right now be in a recession. And you said, no, we're going to have a booming country. We're going to have a booming country. You were right. All 22 were wrong.
What?
And you were right. This country's booming. And it's booming
not
because of
booming.
the election on November 5th. And it's booming for another reason. It's booming because of tariffs. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Interest rates are about to hike again. We just got word yesterday that interest rates could go up because the
Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. What will you say to foreign nations who seek to renegotiate their deals? And what did you mean a moment ago when you said that the Supreme Court has been swayed by foreign interests?
Well, I think that foreign interests are represented by people that I believe have undue influence. They have a lot of influence over the Supreme Court, whether it's through fear or respect or friendships, I don't know. But I know some of the people that were involved on the other side, and I don't like them. I think they're real slime balls. And got to do what's right for the country. You got to do what's right for the Constitution. That's why I respect so much Justice Thomas and Alito, Kavanaugh, because they not only dissented, their dissent is so strong. When you read their dissent, you know, a lot of times you'll read a dissent and it's like, well, you don't know, it could go either way. There's no other way. The good news is, it's like Justice Kavanaugh said, very strongly said, you have other ways you can go. You don't have to go that way. You can go other way. There are numerous other ways you can go. And frankly, this should have been done by presidents many years ago. They allowed our country to be eaten alive. We lost 50% of our car business. We used to make cars. We made all the cars. And then Mexico came, Canada came, and Japan and Germany. But they're all coming back now. They're all coming back at record levels. No, please. I'm not talking to you. I don't talk.
Our trade deficit has spiked well worse than what it was before tariffs now.
It's been in a long time.
Right.
January jobs report beat expectation. CPI report beat expectation. Real wages are up. What would you tell Americans who are worried that this decision will kind of throw the economy that you have projected going in the right direction at a very rapid pace off track?
Well, thank you for the question. And I will say this. We really are at a very important point. I've been waiting for this decision so long. They could have made this decision a long time ago. Not complex. They're wrong on it. It's a ridiculous decision. But they should have released this a long time ago. We waited months. And that gave uncertainty. Now we have certainty. And I think you're going to see the country get much stronger because of it. Look, we were ripped off by almost every country in the world. If you look at the surpluses, almost every country in the world that did business with us, our people were stupid.
I should just do Trump.
And I blame
Trump
presidents
translator
for it
videos.
because they're ultimately the leader. We were being ripped off by almost every single country in the world had some massive surpluses. China had hundreds of billions of dollars in surpluses with the United States. They rebuilt China. They rebuilt the army. We built China's army by allowing that to happen. I have a great relationship with President Xi, but he respects our country now. Now, what we've done, I charged China a 20% tariff as a penalty for sending fentanyl in. And that was 20 times more than they could make by selling fentanyl. And I said, at some point you're going to say, and they have reduced it. Fentanyl is down by more than 30% coming into our country. Part of that is our strong border. We have a strong border now. But thank you. Thank you for your question.
Mr. President, sir, you warned once in a social media post that if the Supreme Court did this, shot down your tariffs, the U.S. would be, quote, financially defenseless. Are we financially defenseless right now?
No, because we're doing something in a different way. We're doing something in a very powerful way. And we're using things that some people thought we should have used in the first place. But it's more complicated. It's a little more complicated. The process takes a little more time. But the end result is going to get us more money. And I think it's going to be great. Yeah,
this is a win, guys.
Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, since Liberation Day, there's about $175 billion in tariff revenue that is now in limbo. Do you have to refund $175 billion?
Think of it, Peter. Very fair question. They take months and months to write an opinion, and they don't even discuss that point. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars.
And didn't think about this, the legality.
And so I said, well, what happens to all the money that we took in? It wasn't discussed. Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? Whoa. I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years. So they write this terrible, defective decision, totally defective. It's almost like not written by smart people. And what they do, they don't even talk about that. Your question is very basic. That was the first question I asked also to make you feel good. I said, what about all the money that we've taken in? Sir, they don't discuss that. How crazy is that?
What you're saying is, are you saying that you don't plan to honor refunds for companies that file for them?
I just told you the answer, right? I told you the answer. It's not discussed. We'll end up being in court for the next 5 years. Go ahead, Green.
Or you can just return it.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you are talking about the relationship with countries that you have sought trade deals with, do you anticipate that they will seek to renegotiate those? What do you say to them? And do you view this as a potential undermining power for your
we're
negotiations?
going straight ahead with 10% straight across the board, which was the absolute right to do. And that's taking place. That's a lot of money coming into our country. And then during that period of about 5 months, we are doing the various investigations necessary to put fair tariffs or tariffs, period, on other countries. So we're doing that period, but we're immediately instituting the 10% provision, which we're allowed to do. And in the end, I think we'll take in more money than we've taken in before.
Mr. President, you've used the tariff revenue to pay for a host of federal policies. You've claimed that they will pay for them. What happens
Well,
to
like
those
the
things?
farmers. We took care of farmers. You know, the farmers were mistreated by foreign countries very badly, very, very badly. And last week I gave them $12 billion out of tariff money. We intend to, out of tariff money, because just so you understand, we have tariffs. We just have them in a different way. And now they've been confirmed by the Supreme Court of the United States.
Shut down.
So there's no longer that question out there about tariffs. And we'll be taking in hundreds of billions of dollars.
From
And countries that have treated us badly
From Americans,
will
not
have
other
to pay a
countries.
price for treating us badly. And countries that have been good to us will be treated very well. We just left the top person in a place called Vietnam, just left my office. Great gentleman, strong and smart. He said, you know, I think this means you're allowed to charge us more tariffs than before. And
What?
Canada said to Jameson, I might want to say it, Jameson, but Canada said, I hope you win
Grandpa.
this decision, because if you don't win, you'll actually be allowed to charge us with a little additional work, higher tariffs. Jameson, you want to comment on that?
He wants to get billed out of that line.
To the President's point, we have a lot of tools out there. We have Section 122, which will be implemented today. It will be signed today and implemented very shortly. We have Section 301 investigations, which are incredibly legally durable, where we can investigate and address unfair trading practices that have led to our huge trade deficit. And so you can look forward in the coming days and weeks to seeing all of that come out, and we're going to keep continuity in the program. We're going to keep addressing this so that the deficit can keep going down. That's the trend it has, and we can make America great again.
The deficit is not going down.
Several of Republicans in Congress have supported this decision by the Supreme Court. And Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has called you a wannabe king. Why wouldn't
him a low IQ?
But why wouldn't
he doesn't even know? And I watched him the other day interview. The guy doesn't even know what a tariff is.
But there's been bipartisan.
You don't know
criticism.
what a
Not
tariff
bipartisan,
is.
Excuse me.
There's several
A few
Republicans
people.
have said that.
Yeah, a few people.
Wouldn't you just work with Congress to come up with a plan?
I don't have to.
To push tariffs
I have
through?
the right to do tariffs, and I've always had the right to do tariffs. And it's all been approved by Congress, so there's no reason to do it. All we're doing is we're going through a little bit more complicated process, not complicated very much, but a little more complicated than what we had. We'll be able to take in tariffs, more tariffs. And the Congress people and the Congress.
Down the Canadian tariffs last week.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
been votes
you
in
know
the
why?
Senate against it.
Yeah, because we lost 2 Republicans or 3 Republicans because they're not good Republicans. What you don't say, you don't say that we got 215 votes.
You need 218 for something to pass.
Yeah, sure we do. We might have lost 3 votes, and we got. And what was the score on the Republican side? 215 to 3, right? But you don't say that. We have great unity. There's great unity in the Republican Party, and I hope everyone's going to vote Republican, because otherwise you won't have a country left.
What about the
'Cause
fake
these people
Republicans
have
you
been
just
destroying.
pointed to?
They are destroying our country. Please.
Mr. President, the 122 tariffs, that 10%,
Yeah.
is that going to be for 150 days, or do you want to charge that indefinitely?
We have a right to do pretty much what we want to do, but we're going to charge it starting effectively. I think it's 3 days from now. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, you speak to a lot of factory workers, a lot of manufacturing workers. What does the Supreme Court ruling say? What's that message to those factory workers?
Well, I think the factory workers are happy because we're now telling them that they're going to look. The man I met with yesterday, who owned a factory, was out of business. He was out of business, and now he's employing 5 times. In fact,
All
I
right.
walked in.
No one cares.
He's got a brand new crane.
All right, he's lying. Whatever. All right, Cecil. What's up?
You hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, how you doing today, Pickles?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I like your hours. You get to set your own hours. It's great.
Yeah.
You got it made, dude. You're a smart guy. Question for you. You know, when corporations pay more taxes, they pass that on to the consumer, right?
At a rate of about 30%. Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I never heard that before. That's interesting. So it's sort of the same thing as tariffs, right?
Kind of.
But you guys are all for corporate taxes. You want to tax the hell out of corporations.
Yeah, they work differently. So tariffs are very hard to avoid when you're talking about cost of goods sold. I used to be a bookkeeper, and when you add something to the cost of goods sold, something that it takes, something required for you to bring it all the way to your customer is very hard to avoid. And what the difference is between a corporate tax and that is that take two companies competing against each other. One, they both have the corporate tax raise. One company decides to raise prices for their customers to make up for that. The other one doesn't. The other one will see more customers. So the market will make people compete and wash away those price increases. While tariffs, you can't do that. Those are attached directly to the cost of a good.
But there's some things that tariffs you can use as a tool that you can't with corporate taxes, right? I mean, there are some benefits of tariffs. We know that because the Democrats were all for levying tariffs against China, but they never did it. It was just they talked about it like they always do.
So tariffs are good and useful for winning elections and protecting markets. So when Trump puts tariffs on everything, the big difference is we don't even compete with China in 99% of the things he tariffed. So we're just paying him taxes.
Did you see on the news when he first started using these tariffs as a weapon? Hold on a second. My phone. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, hey, Pickles, let me just ask you something because I'm running out of time. But do you have a pencil in hand, or could you use your computer for this?
What's up?
I call it the Cecil curve. I made this up the other night. So, what you may have to look this up, but what were the CO2 levels during or pre-industrial era?
I watched a bunch of videos. Cecil.
Did you
You're gonna be
really?
so proud of me.
Oh man, what'd you watch?
I watched a guy named Pothole. You familiar
Oh
with
yeah, I
Pothole?
know Pothole. I've seen plenty of debates with Potholder, I think his name is, and my guys. He debates all of them.
Yeah, Potholer pretty much crushes your
No, he doesn't.
entire argument.
No, he
in one
doesn't. How
video.
would? Okay, you've watched Potholder, but have you watched the documentaries? No, you always go to the opposing view. You never go to the original source. You never do that.
So I
It's
watched
kind of
him.
like watching. Hey, real quick, it's like watching a ping pong game when you're doing these debates because you hear one counter argument. Oh, but there's a counter argument to that. Oh, but there's a counter argument to that. It's just going back and forth. Trust me, dude. It took me a good 5 years. I was a skeptic of the skeptics for a good 5 years. Now I'm a true skeptic.
Here's the problem with Mr. Heller's argument. He's cast doubt on the rate of global warming and the rate at which CO2 levels affect the Earth's temperature.
Right.
He's calculated all of those based off of Arctic core temperature adjustments. So what he did was he made a whole video saying, look, this means for every X amount of CO2 level, we're going to see a 10 degrees difference in the atmosphere. And that's not true. That is only.
He's never made that
Arctic.
claim.
There's a video, literally just him saying that. Yeah.
Do you know the Arctic ice core? You can only go back about 1 million years to get the history of CO2 with Arctic.
Sure.
The glaciers on Earth right now, the oldest one may be 2 million years old, but it's between 1 and 2 million years. So how do you know what the CO2 levels are, say, 800,000 years ago? Which, by the way, I do have concerns, just like you. For instance, CO2 levels haven't been as high as they are right now since 800,000 years ago. So there are things to be alarmed about, but that doesn't necessarily mean that CO2 is a bad thing.
Okay, sure. But he absolutely just kind of looks at all of the science that is settled today, and he just kind of raises weird, childish, emotional questions about them. He doesn't.
So you never
actually
went
get
to his
into it.
website.
Now,
You're telling me all about the guy, but you've never been to his website.
I've watched him debate. I've watched his debate videos. I've
Uh-huh.
watched Potholer discuss his debate video and cite his videos in a video
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
retort to his claims. This guy is a child. This guy is
No, I've seen this. Okay, do me a favor.
And
Just
he's a
this is
geologist.
it's the last. He's okay. Just pull up Real Climate Science real quick, okay? It's just a half a paragraph I want you to read. That's his bio that's on there. Let me go there too. You'll know you're there when you see Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Okay, in the black box where all that stuff is, the very last thing it says, "Who is Tony Heller?" You see that?
Yeah.
He's a lifelong environmentalist.
That's not true.
Well, how's it not true?
He's a geologist.
Well, I'm an environmentalist, but I'm not a geologist.
Yeah, I'm an astronaut, right? Because I breathe oxygen. That's what this guy's doing, dude. This guy's fucking full of shit.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Have you seen this documentary called Planet of the Humans?
No.
It's, believe it or not, because I was looking for some left-leaning documentaries that I could suggest to you, and this one is actually produced by Michael Moore. So Michael Moore is not a right-leaning person, right?
Okay.
You should really watch this one. It's called Planet of the Humans, and it talks about all these different alternative energies and how really bad they are. For instance, these solar panels, do you know how they make solar panels? They have to melt coal, and it's not silica. It is silica like everyone thinks, but it's not from the beach like sand. They have to get it from quartz, which means they have to heat this up to 1800 degrees. They produce more CO2 than they would otherwise. All these alternative energy sources are bad news for the environment. And I learned that from watching a left-leaning documentary called Planet of the Humans. But hey, I appreciate you. I'm sorry.
No problem. How old is that documentary?
It's probably 10 years old, I want to say.
We've industrialized a lot of that stuff. Solar panels, wind, all of that stuff. Just like computers, just like you're a computer guy, right? Like RAM's come a long way, right? Since, like, imagine what solar panels have done in 10 years. It's different.
I would hope so. And if that's true, I'll be happy about that. But, you know, they still get hit by storms. They still get broken. You should see all the solar farms that are abandoned in the United States, and they're ugly as hell. And they got the one that's...
The investments into solar farms rose by 3% last year. So if that were the trend, if they were a bad investment, you wouldn't see a rise in investment.
Oh, they're a bad investment. The reason those trends are happening is because there's a lot of money to be made in the green energy sector. I mean, there's opportunity everywhere. You can just start anything. Oh, and by the way, I was telling you about that game I made up about how does global warming cause this? Last night I asked it if global warming will cause my baklava to dry out quicker. And it had a lot of interesting things about that to say too. But here's the thing. If you were to, I don't know how long you're going to continue to delve into the hoax of the climate, but if you get into it deep enough, eventually you'll start hearing terms like negative feedback loop and positive feedback loop. And you'll hear about the spectrum in our atmosphere that absorbs the CO2 and the methane. And you'll find out that water vapor absorbs all those wavelengths the same as methane. And so the CO2 is not doing jack diddly squat to the temperature of Earth.
I've heard you and Heller allude to the fact that methane there's so little of it in our environment.
That's true.
But it does not matter. That does not mean anything. You can
it matters because
you can see the effects. The effects are non-negotiable.
Okay, the effects, this is where you really need to look at Tony Heller's webpage, because it's nothing but graphs and science, and they show where CO2 actually lags behind temperature changes. In other words, there's some sort of solar storm and heats up the Earth, and then the CO2 is released. It's never the other way around.
No, he completely.
It's too small for it, and it's not just Tony Heller. You need to read John Clauser. He's the Nobel Prize winner I was telling you about in physics. And
Tony Heller says that methane doesn't build up in the atmosphere. We have all of the data that shows that methane does build up in the atmosphere.
Methane turns into CO2 after about 10 or 15 years. Did you know that?
It still builds up, though.
No,
still builds up. We are on the rise. We are higher in methane than we have been in previous years.
It's a tiny amount either way.
No, it's literally, the chart is a 45-degree angle.
That's what I'm saying. All the charts are bullshit. And if you'll go to Tony's webpage, he uses NOAA and NASA data to show that they're fit. There's one on there called NASA fraud, exposing that here. I'm going to go there real quick. It's about 6 minutes long, because honestly, I didn't know if you would look into this, and I thought, man, if I could suggest one movie to him or video, it's got to be a short one. So I found one that was like, 6 minutes, and I'm going to tell you the name of it. I just got to find it real quick. Here, Tony Heller. Yeah, it's called Fact Checking Grok is the one I already told you about. That's a good one too, though. He shows where NASA is just making up. They're changing the records of the past, He'll show a graph that they put up in 1992 compared to one they put up today, and it's got the same information, same everything, but the numbers are different. They cooled the past to heat up the present, and he proves it and shows it. But you're never going to know because you're just going to go to Potholder and read.
They literally make adjustments. They make adjustments on data that are necessary to make the data accurate. So just like you alluded to, the placement of some of the thermometers that NOAA uses, yada, 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 because of the placement in the pavement or whatever.
It's the urban heat index.
Yeah, so they make adjustments for this, and this is normal. And what Tony also does is try to convince and radicalize people to think that this is the government.
How would you know? He's never tried to convince you of anything. You got all this from Potholder. What I'm saying, if you want to be fair, whatever amount of time you spent with Potholder, spend half that amount of time on Tony Heller's webpage. You owe it to yourself and to your listeners.
All right.
Okay.
I don't like the way Tony speaks. He does not speak professionally. He's very emotional.
Well, see, I never saw what he looked like. I listened to him for a few years, and I kept, you know how when you don't know someone's face, your imagination kind of fills it in. I thought the dude was in his 20s. Then I saw him, but I think he's got a lot of style, honestly.
He's emotionally like 17. The way he talks, the way he's dishonest in his thinking, I can hear it when he talks. He's not here for the science.
Huh. Well, can I go ahead and tell you about the Cecil curve real quick that I made up?
Yeah.
So let's see, pre-industrial levels, CO2 was at 280 parts. Will you write that down and do some math for me? Okay, 280, right? And today it's at 427. So what's the difference between those?
207.
Did you say 147?
I said 207.
Hold on.
Did you say
480
versus 487?
No. 427, which is today's parts per million, minus what it was at pre-industrial, which was 280.
Okay. Yeah, sure. 147.
147. That's how much it's gone up since the industrial age. Now, let's pretend instead of it going up by 147, that it went down since industrial times. So what's 280 minus 147?
Whatever, 133.
We're all dead ducks at that point because we have to have a minimum of 150 parts per million. So if things would have gone the other way, we'd all be dead. It's better that we're gaining CO2 as opposed to losing it. Would you agree with that?
I think that this also, you need to pair this with the Earth's orbit and the way that the polarity has shifted.
Well, the shifts happen every year, every 11 years. Then they have these Milankovitch cycles, which deals with the eccentricity of the Earth. But those are all big time scales. Like the eccentricity of the Earth is like 100,000 time scales. But I'm glad we're talking about this because these are all the factors that actually do affect our temperature. CO2 does jack little, just hardly anything.
Not true.
How could it? With 427 parts per million, do you realize that's why they call it a trace element?
His whole reason he cast doubt on this was bad reasoning. I watched a video on this.
Okay, hold on. You keep saying he, but there's thousands of people who agree with him.
That's very sad because what he did was he's pointing to a graph that's using Arctic core temperatures, and he's saying, "Oh, look, between this CO2 level and this CO2 level would mean a 10% change." When this was,
you're gonna have to tell me which video because that doesn't sound like anything he would say. So you just tell me which video that is, so I can go watch it and grab a pen.
How about we just watch this right now, guys?
Sure. Oh, but wait, are you gonna watch one that I recommend too? That's even shorter.
I wanna hold on.
Because you cherry pick and you find ones that have been edited, and it's not really cool.
We have to watch this.
Yeah, when I saw you were online, I just took the day off today, Pickles.
I love that.
It's rare that it's a treat when you come online.
My thanks to Tony Heller for checking my...
Oh, Potholder, I've heard his stupid voice so many times.
Love him.
Channel for accuracy in his video debunking the debunker. A lot of people asked me to respond, so I knew
you were going to end up on this guy.
I'll go
matter
through his claims in chronological order.
Great.
Here's the first one.
He claims that a tiny bit of cooling triggers ice ages and a tiny bit of warming ends them.
Well, the researchers I cite.
That's Tony Heller. Listen to that guy. I literally swear I think he's been on my show.
No,
Conclude
there's
this,
no way.
not me.
But he doesn't provide any evidence of the magnitude of these changes.
Actually, I do. I not only give the figures, I cite and show the study they came from. This is from my video, Does CO2 Lead or Lag Global Warming? A paper by Laureus et al. Shows that insulation has varied by only 0.7 watts per square metre over the last 160,000 years. In other words, the tiny amount of forcing due to the Earth's orbit wasn't enough to defrost miles of thick ice covering a large part of the planet.
Listen carefully to what he says here.
But each time something had to act as that initial trigger. Something had to nudge the round weight just a fraction. A strong contender has always been regular cyclical deviation in the Earth's position or orbit, changing the amount of sunlight the Earth received. Whatever it was, in the depths of the Ice Age, this change melted a tiny part of the ice sheet and released carbon gases from the soil and from the warmer oceans.
Whatever it was? He doesn't actually know what the trigger of the ice ages is, but he claims to know that the magnitude of it is small.
But didn't I just explain what researchers think it was? Tony even played the clip. A strong contender has always been regular cyclical deviation in the Earth's position or orbit, changing the amount of sunlight the Earth received. These orbital movements and wobbles are called Milankovitch cycles. In another video, I explain that again. Researchers say carbon dioxide was not the cause of the initial warming during any of the recent deglaciations. The most likely trigger was the Milankovitch cycles, changes in the Earth's tilt and orbit that caused more insolation.
What if the effect of those orbital cycles was actually very large? Then his entire theory goes down the drain immediately.
But as I point out, researchers have calculated that they aren't large. And again, it's not my theory. Professional researchers know very precisely what these orbital variations are, and they can calculate within given margins of error how much they affect the energy.
No shit. Tony talks about them all the time.
Of course, Tony can speculate that it's much bigger or much smaller. He's free to imagine any figures he likes. But researchers can't do that. They have to go with what the measurements and calculations show. And as a science reporter, I can't do that either. I have to accurately report their results. Tony goes on to describe how a small amount of warming causes oceans to release CO2, since carbon dioxide is less soluble at higher water temperature. I explain exactly the same thing, so no argument there.
So the relationship here, as Potholer correctly stated, is that CO2 follows temperature. Temperature changes first, and the CO2 changes later. What he blew over in his discussion was that Al Gore said the exact opposite. He tried to make it sound like CO2 drove the temperature.
He did indeed, and I pointed out his mistake very clearly. In his film An Inconvenient Truth, Al Gore used a graph like this to show a correlation between carbon dioxide levels and increased temperatures. But he obscured the fact that the carbon dioxide increases lag the temperature increases by 800 years. So I didn't blow over this at all. It's right there.
Billions of school children around the world have been lied to about this topic, and Potholer didn't seem to think that was very important.
Now, that's a bit unfair. I think that's extremely important, and if you'd asked me, Tony, I would have been very happy to tell you that. I've made no indication in any of my videos that I'm not concerned about children being misinformed about science, whether it's by Al Gore or Laurie David or anyone else.
Why does he
I've frequently spoken out in my videos about the need to stop junk science.
Why are you more impressed with
classrooms,
someone's
and I'm happy
accent
to repeat that
than
now.
their actual
I've
science?
also said schools need to spend more time.
No, you just
teaching children
proved your
how to
bias.
tell the
You have
difference
authority
between
bias.
real
You think
science
this
and
guy
junk
sounds smarter,
science
so
on
he
the
must be
internet.
right.
But let's just
You're
get back
swayed
to
by
what
his
Tony claims I agree with.
accent.
It's not his accent. This Tony Heller is here going, he said something and just added this thing about school children. And
That's the same thing that he does. They do that to him too. In fact, you can go on Tony's webpage and he's debunking Potholder. It's like, that's why I called it a ping pong game. It's like going back
So
and
the
forth.
relationship here, as Potholer correctly stated, is
Note the chart he's using right here, right? This is Tony Heller using this chart.
CO2 follows temperature.
And that's a
Temperature
fact.
changes
Everyone agrees
first,
on that.
And the CO2 changes later.
Well, I
about
didn't say
800
the
years later.
relationship here is that CO2 follows temperature, obviously, because this is a graph covering several glacial cycles. What I said was that CO2 followed temperatures in the early stages of deglaciation in the southern hemisphere, because I'm reporting the conclusion of scientific studies. In the latter stages of deglaciation shown on the graph, and in the northern hemisphere, CO2 led temperature rise. So just as it's wrong for Al Gore to give the impression that CO2 always leads temperature changes, it's wrong for Tony to give the impression that CO2 always lags. If Tony's concerned that billions of schoolchildren are being lied to about this topic, and I don't doubt his sincerity, then I hope he'll join me in insisting that schoolchildren should be told what the science says, which is that carbon dioxide does both. It leads and lags temperature at different stages in the glacial cycle.
Now let's go back and look at the ice core graph again. The graph shows swings in temperature of about 10 degrees centigrade during glacial cycles. These correspond with
10 degrees. This is Tony Heller's claim. All right?
Swings in carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere of about 100 parts per million. Now remember what Potholer said. He said that a very small change in temperature causes feedback from carbon dioxide and that we get a 10-degree swing in temperature from a 100 part per million change in CO2.
Does anyone remember me saying that we get a 10-degree swing in temperature from a 100 part per million change in CO2? No, because that would imply a ridiculously high figure.
Honestly, I've actually heard this before,
which is how much
because
the
that's
Earth
how much
responds to
time I
carbon
spend on all
dioxide
this crap.
forcing it. Did Tony show a video clip of me saying that? Of course not, because I never said any.
All right, I am losing people, and Georgia, thank you so much for the kick. Cecil, I'm sorry, you gotta go. Georgia paid to kick you. Cecil, I think it's worth paying attention to just this part right
and yet,
here.
when Tony made that claim, some people simply believed him without checking.
This is you. This is you. This is what he does. So people ran with the claim that he just made. It's not true.
That's why I got a couple of rather abusive
it.
messages on my channel.
And that is completely ludicrous.
It is, which is why I didn't say it.
Not even the most outrageous claims of climate sensitivity come anywhere close to that.
I didn't say that, Tony. Okay, just to settle this, here's what I did say about climate sensitivity. And these estimates show that for a
it's something around 4. The spoiler is something around 4, which lines up with all of the science. The fact is, Tony was looking at that Arctic Circle chart to pretty much say, oh, look how fake this data is. When it wasn't accurate, it wouldn't be accurate to use the Arctic Circle core temperature for global temperature changes. And that was his error, which is like a huge error, which is this guy is categorically doing bad science. Play a video and get me. I'm sorry, Cecil. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. The last percent chat. Anyways, if you enjoy these debates, give me a follow. Also, tap the screen. We're almost at 100K. And let's get the next guest in here. If you're a MAGA and you want to debate, hop in the box. Please don't come up here with like climate change stuff. I don't know if I want to debate this today. I will call Dr. Blitz. Cecil, go debate Dr. Blitz. You gotta stop running, guys. Come on now. I am the most cordial debater. I only kick somebody if someone is paid to kick. That's more generous than most. Where is it? Oh, guys. Go go check out Dr. Blitz. He's actually live right now, so don't go now. But Cecil, go follow Dr. Blitz. Go do a debate when he does Flat Earth or whatever, or Ask a Physicist, and debate him on it. And he will break it all the way down. If you don't want to debate by proxy, you're going to be debating someone like him. He's a lazy debater. Pickles is the ASMR TikTok debates. I love Dr. Blitz too. I don't usually brag, but we're mutuals. He follows me, and he's the smartest man alive. It's not a big deal. Hello.
How are you, Pickles?
Oh, what's up, John? How are you, buddy?
I'm all right. Long time no talk, huh?
Yeah. How are you
Kinda.
doing?
I'm fine.
Good. You still staying on track with your other thing?
3 times since Thanksgiving.
Still not bad.
Yeah, I made a rule with myself. If I here, I gotta turn the volume up. There we go. I made a rule with myself that if I want to drink twice a week, I can.
But you haven't done
But
it.
I usually don't. No, let me think. Let me think. Last time I drank about a week, well, maybe 10 days ago. Wait, no, 5 days, something like that.
Dude, you didn't hit the ground running though, so that's good.
No, man, it's nice to actually wake up like not hungover.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but okay, well, we'll get to. So yeah, this is all my personal opinion. I've actually debated Dr. Blitz a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a tough cookie to crack.
Yeah, we debated. Let me think. C19 and well, evolution.
Oh no,
Kinda.
you're not against evolution. You don't believe in evolution?
No, I do. This is the problem for the left. See, I do believe in evolution, but what evolution leads to is leads to a average IQ discussion.
How so?
I don't know if you want me to tell you about this, man. It'll trigger you, but I can if you want.
Oh.
Well, let's put it this way, right? Are we in agreement that humans came out of Africa? Modern humans were evolved around 200,000 years ago, and they left Africa around 100,000 years ago, went into Europe and Asia.
If that's what science says.
Right. But see, what this leads to is so there were ice ages that occurred around that time, right? And this is where the evolutionary changes occurred among races. This is why it's not a social construct. And there's average differences as a result of surviving winter over 100,000 years or so. Average IQ changed among races. So this is why I know you won't like this conversation.
What are you positing that evolution isn't real because we would have a problem justifying it after running into the racist IQ study?
Well, it is evolution. I believe in evolution. I think it is real.
What's your holdup?
It's not my holdup. It's just that it ends up at a racial realism. That if you believe in evolution, right? Why would you believe that all races evolve the same in terms of IQ?
I wouldn't say that, but I'm not going to sit here. First of all, you're going to allude to the IQ test, right? We've talked about it a few times. Do you think that a small undeveloped country in Africa with less education, less money for education, less access to like food and all of that stuff that would make a human develop the same way as someone in a country that's developed. Like, imagine what I have access to as a kid. Imagine what somebody in Africa, in an undeveloped part of Africa, would have access to in terms of food, water, education, and then give each of these kids an IQ test. This is the data you're fucking with. I don't care for it.
Well, I agree. It's a combination of what you're saying is that's valid, right? But it's a combination of genetics, environment, and culture. Here would be my example for you, right? The average IQ in North and South Korea is about the same. It's just a few points difference. It's about 100 in North Korea. It's about 103
If you
in
can
South Korea.
believe what they release, I have
Do you think
I have no reason to believe that North Korea gives us true numbers. No.
So you think that the IQ is probably lower in North Korea?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the point of that would be that there's much more poverty in North Korea. But
and
okay.
Starvation. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll give
and
you another
education. Like, their education is probably extremely problematic. They probably get nothing but misinformation in North Korea, right? Like, they solemnly believe that the leader of their country is like demigod, right? Like, they are absolutely gonna be way outside of the norm when it comes to like science, logic, and stuff. Like, hey, if you ask a North Korean, could a human survive without eating? They would be fucking puzzled. They wouldn't know how to answer. They would fail that question, right? Because their leader doesn't poop, doesn't pee. He's perfect.
Well, look, I guess I could give you. You would expect that, say, like a country of Kuwait or Qatar, right? They're extremely wealthy countries, right? Because of their oil. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
Yeah, but the average IQ there is probably I would estimate probably in like the low 80s.
Okay.
So wouldn't you expect that would be higher?
I would say that there's a wealth disparity, right? So like some of these countries might have a very rich like class, like 1% or 10%, I don't know, but the wealth disparity would mean that the masses, the society that lives there, they're not all rich. They are probably subject to poor, like theocratic bullshit, indoctrinating things. They have very problematic things that have probably kept them from societally like evolving like we have, like like treating women as second-class citizens, being extremely religious or superstitious. I don't think it has to do with race. I think the second like we do this with people in a controlled setting, the deviations aren't worth mentioning, especially since we're not divided. We're not in a vacuum. So like if somebody from a different race were to breed with somebody in another race, this whole thing goes away, right? Like we would have something entirely new. This is what has happened 1,000 times over since this data has been collected. Race isn't worth mentioning. When you start dividing people by race, even especially when talking about IQ, it's nothing but divisive. It means nothing. We shouldn't do anything legislatively, politically, nothing about that, because it already starts with divisive thinking.
Well, this is where the impasse is. As I'm telling you, this is the problem in terms of equity and DEI, and also the problem with third world immigration into Western countries. But look, you just don't. You think that what I'm saying is racist.
I think that what you're alluding to is racist. Yeah. Like
I just think it's true. I mean,
do you really look at your fellow American, like, black people and think that they're more likely to be less smart as you? Is that what you think?
Not. I mean, you can't on an individual level. Look. I acknowledge there's intelligent black people.
Isn't that what the data you're holding? Like, that's the data. Like,
I'm telling you but I'm just telling you the average. The averages. Look, it would be like saying, look, I think that on average, black people are like faster and stronger. Is that true?
I'm not gonna
like the best athletes. I mean,
I think that we did eugenics. I think we did eugenics, and we have a lot of people here that were subject to a lot of eugenics. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that just because that I'm just telling you that we believe in evolution. We both do, but my conclusion is that there are, look, if I'll kind of break it down. I talked about these ice ages that occurred about 70,000 years ago, right? Like people in Europe had to adapt and survive. It increased average intelligence. Same thing with the East Asians, right? This is why the average IQ of East Asians is actually it's about 105, right? So
Cool.
there's just
It could be a cultural thing though, right? So like
so you think it's
East Asia, like maybe like I think of stereotypical like Chinese household, very focused on how they perform in education, very family oriented. Those would have different results than a culture that does something entirely different. Is it good, bad, right, or wrong? I have no opinion on that. I don't think there's a good, bad, right, or wrong. I think there's you trying to use race, which is mostly determined right now by like color of skin and country of origin or a combination of some of these things, but it's not useful at all. That is not useful information. It's not
look
for
here's the I think here's the core of the difference we have with me and the left. Okay, is that you think that the poverty causes the low IQ. I think the low IQ causes the poverty.
Oh, well then you're just a victim blamer. Yeah. Like so obviously the thing I spelled out, you think you agree that like an undeveloped country with less education, funding, less access to food and water, you agree that they would perform less no matter what race. They would
Yeah,
perform
that's why I
lower?
say certainly environment and culture is a factor, but I actually think the average IQ in North Korea is actually pretty close to South Korea.
I don't. I honestly don't know. I think that you'd have to like you would have to forget everything that you just agreed to, right? Like North Koreans are not living day to day and flourishing, and like they're starving. They're heavily indoctrinated. The only way for somebody like Kim Jong Un to stand power is to completely victimize his people and lie to them constantly. So yeah,
Oh,
they
look,
are
man,
they are completely like malnourished and dying and subject to authoritarianism, and some of them are happy about it.
oh, it's terrible. I'm just using that. I just think that genetics is a factor in IQ. And you're telling me that it's all just environment or culture, and I think that's
I
but
think
this
genetics obviously have something to do with IQ, but not race.
but you see you believe the opposite when it comes to the non-straight community. You think that's all genetic.
No, I think that you can be born with like a predisposition to be one way or the other, and then the rest of it would be environmental, right?
So you do think it's part environment.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Like, think about all of the lavender marriages that have happened. So all of these people insist that they're straight, could never even think and conceive the idea that they're not straight because of their religion, and some of them die never doing that, right?
Well, look, I think like complex things such as IQ or being non-straight or even mental illness, it's a combination of environment, genetics, and culture. I think that's fair to say.
I again, like, if you just leave culture out of it because you're talking about race, it makes no sense. You're
Well, you could
basically race, right? Like, is a lot determined by like phenotypical features, right? Because it's made up. So
well,
like you're determining someone's IQ by mostly melanin content. That's
it's
stupid.
but it's not just melanin. It's also facial features. It's also teeth structure. There's differences besides
Yeah,
melanin,
that's pseudoscience though.
right? No,
If you're
I don't think.
associating IQ with any of those things, that's automatically stupid, right?
Well, no, I was just that, but I was just describing that
But
as
you agree that even especially using a collection of those features to determine IQ is even dumber, right? If you don't want to just use one, you're going to use a collection of them, melanin content and facial features to determine IQ.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm just describing race, right? So like there's differences in like
Yeah. You're describing race, which is already problematic when talking about IQ.
Well, I mean, some people from India have like really dark skin, but they're not African, right? So it's based on regional geography, right? I mean, it's just they.
Is it not coming to you? Like, is it not like coming to the realization that now you're having to create so many caveats that it just can't quite possibly be as simple as race?
Well, I just don't think race is socially constructed. I mean, it might be.
How can I know you have one author. How can you even think this? How can you actually think that race is not socially constructed when we literally did make it up? We literally made it up.
Because we can do genetic testing and they can tell me that I'm Irish and I'm German.
That's a
Scottish.
nationality.
Okay, they're ethnicities, but that's just ancestry, which is just a cluster.
No, nationality.
Yeah, but okay, man. Like if two like white people go to China and they have a kid, the child is just a white person living in China. We're in agreement, right?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Yeah, so like say two white people, right, go to China and they have a child. The ethnicity, the ancestry of the child is not Chinese, it's white.
The
right?
ethnicity is, but the nationality would be Chinese.
Interesting.
It's not really debatable, right?
Well, but you understand my point, right? The when you look at the child, you're not going to see somebody Chinese. You would see a white
to a racist with poor schema abilities. Yes, you go, oh, that's not a Chinese person. But to somebody who knows what nationality is versus race, they go, oh, you're Chinese. That's cool.
I okay. If there's this. How can you just look at somebody, like when we look at somebody, like I can never be Chinese or African because that's not my DNA.
Yes,
it's
you
fixed.
Can. You just can't.
What?
Okay, you're just saying it would be hard. You would be easily confused to not be Asian. Is that what you're just saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like people knew this hundreds of years ago, even before there was, even thousands of years ago, before there was genetic testing.
But Asians,
but
again, like that's. You're alluding to the fact that it gets sloppy. It's sloppy categorizing when you start talking about race and anything. It's already sloppy. It's already problematic, and we have to, again, I have to like refocus you on the fact that that's different from national identity and cultural identity, all of these other things, and it's extremely nuanced.
Well, I just think the dogma on the left in the West is anti-whiteness, settler colonialism, oppressor versus oppressed. This is the narrative, and everything. This is why the left thinks it's. I mean, doesn't it? Do you think it's okay for people to say like mediocre white men?
Yeah.
Are you like okay with that?
Yeah, I can. I want to play a game with you. All right, I'm going to openly insult oppressive groups that are bigger and in power, and you're going to take turns with me insulting minority groups, and we'll see who taps out first. Okay? I'm gonna say fuck Christians. Go ahead.
Well, this is a good example.
Okay.
Okay. Here, I'll take you through it. Right? No. Here, I'll take you through it. Right. So you say, and you believe that, right? And this is why. So you say that, right? Because, but think of how women in the non-straight community are treated in a lot of places in the Islamic world. Which is worse?
Again, I want to play the game. Like
you want me
will
to
not
insult?
do it, right? You
I'll
cannot
do it.
and will not. You can't as a society.
No, I'll do it.
You probably haven't put this into words yet, but we don't do that.
Well, no. Look, I'll play the game. So, wait, you want me to insult minorities? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Yeah. We'll take, because my rule would be it's okay to punch up, but it's not okay to punch down. All right.
Okay.
It's not okay,
Look.
and that's what my belief is, and I stand by that. So I'm gonna say fuck Christians. Your turn.
Okay. In the Islamic world, they have lower IQs in a lot of places because they marry their cousins.
All right. Can you just
This
say
is
fuck?
true.
Are you gonna say fuck Islams? That's what you need to say.
Yeah, fuck radical Islam.
But you won't say fuck all of them? I say fuck all Christians.
You really believe that?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't even have to believe it. This is a game, right? This is like a game that to show that you cannot punch down on minority groups.
Well, I just gave you an example of something that look, okay,
you
here,
said
I'll
something
give you
very
another
safe. You're like fuck people who are radical in belief. Like,
okay, how about this? The average IQ of American black people is 85.
I think that is problematic, but it's also like say it with your full chest, man. Say it with your full chest. Say black people are not as smart in America as white people. Is that what you're saying?
On average, yeah. Well, I just said the average IQ of American black people is 85. The average IQ of white people is 100. The average IQ of East Asians is 105. You think it's mean? I just think it's true.
How
and
about
look,
you
sometimes
say? I want you to say F that group. Would you say that?
I wouldn't say that about anybody.
All right.
And you shouldn't either.
That's why you shouldn't. You don't want to say that because you shouldn't, right? You shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't say that about Christians.
Yeah, but we can.
Well, this is what I'm talking about at the double standard of the left.
No, we've just illustrated that this is the way society deems it's appropriate.
No, this is what the left thinks because of the Frankfurt School and this oppressor versus oppressed critical theory, settler colonial delusion that the left lives under.
John, I love you. Someone paid to kick you, all right? Hey, I'm proud of you. Keep going with your shit, all right? I'll see you
Have a good day, man.
All right.
Take care.
Melanie, Melanie's in the chat. And chat, I try to do my best not to get canceled. And if I did say something harmful, please DM me and I will take it to heart. But it's hard. It's hard to have these conversations and I don't know, maintain a straight face. But that's what I have to do to like actually dig in and talk and have conversations. I'm not trying to normalize it, chat. I'm not trying to normalize this kind of harmful rhetoric. You love him? Guys, I don't love his ideas. I see him as a fellow human who's been misled, just like most of our counterparts on the opposite end of the aisle. We are dark woke now. I'll push back that not all Christians are bad. Christian supremacy and nationalism is... I don't think all Christians are bad. That would be problematic to like hold to. I think Christianity is bad. And I think that you are allowed to say that about it. And that was my point. Hello?
Yo, can you hear me?
What's up, bub?
Yeah, so, what are your thoughts on tariffs being overturned?
I think it's great. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's good. You know, we need to have a free market. You know, tariffs are the free market idea, so it's a good.
Isn't that a W for the left, though?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm not like on the right. I'm a libertarian, like I told you. So, like, you know, I'm more on the right. But like, you know, I think the left, with the big government crap, is going to do it well. Also, I mean, what's this guy's Hamalani or whatever his name is doing bad stuff. So, I mean, the big government stuff is not going to work for the Democrats. You want all these people all over the nation. This guy started the revolution. I mean, it's not going to happen.
What?
The only revolution you'll get is from Ron Paul's book. It's a good book actually. For 5 copies of it. The revolution book. I think Mamdani wants revolution. You're not going to get that. Ron Paul can get the revolution.
You know what? Yeah, sure. Okay. All right. Guys, I don't get it. I don't get the Ron Paul glaze. It's so crazy. Hold on, Chris. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I'll be on.
I am most definitely not, good sir. I just got one quick thing to say, but I do give Trump credit for one little thing. I apologize, if you don't mind, I'll say my spiel. I'm from Canada, by the way. But if I could have voted, I'd have voted for Harris all day long. Anyhow, yeah. So Trump's the great unifier is what I call him. Before he got going with the 51st state rhetoric, Canada was no doubt going conservative. No doubt. The whole country was going to flip to conservative. There's no doubt in my mind. And as soon as he come out with 51st state BS and all this other stuff, the whole country rallied, and the conservative leader, who had a 30-point lead or a 27-point lead, lost his own seat. Then you look at what happened in Germany, and you look at what happened in somewhere in Australia. Exact same thing. So anyway, that's why I call him the great unifier, because he just keeps unifying the rest of the world against him. So at least there's still normal thinking parts of the world.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you.
I somewhat agree. I mean, you don't get points after dividing our own country, though. American, are you eating a full fucking Laffy Taffy or something, dude? Nobody eats like that.
No, I'm actually eating a protein bar.
Oh my god. Drink some water, dude.
Well, I drink water. I'm a pretty strong guy actually. Tampa has pretty affordable groceries. You look at it, lower than market rate. So I think that's a good thing. Tampa. That's why I moved to Tampa. New York City became too unaffordable because of de Blasio, and I had to get out of there. I actually own a house in New York City still, but Tampa is much better. The real estate's much better. You can actually afford a house there. The prices are much lower in Tampa. It's way better. New York City is a dump now. I mean, nobody can afford to live in New York City, but Tampa, it's amazing there. It's very affordable. Well, I mean, we won the Super Bowl like 5 years ago. We had Tom Brady. It's a great thing. Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback ever, greatest player ever. So I think it's incredible we had Tom Brady. Even the Democrats couldn't get Tom Brady. I think that's another thing. The Republicans couldn't get Tom Brady also. But yeah, unfortunately, we have a Democrat mayor. No, I live in Tampa still. Look at the chat. Well, Tampa has cheap groceries, cheap real estate, cheap resources, cheap everything. Everything's cheap in Tampa.
Where are you now?
Tampa.
Tight. Isn't Florida like leading the country in inflation?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure about that, but I think Tampa's doing pretty well. I don't think Tampa's been hit that much.
Yes, they are experiencing and have experienced the highest inflation over the last few years with DeSantis fucking things up. It's the same concept of Trump. All of the mass deportation, DeSantis kind of did his own thing with the HB 1718 and kicked all of the migrant workers out of the state. they're still reeling from that, and we have nothing but data showing how Trump's going to do that. People in your party, so-called libertarians, voted for this. I think it's a joke. I don't know. Tampa sucks. Florida sucks. Fat, big, floppy donkey dicks. As long as they have a fucking red governor, I just feel bad. Feel bad for him.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, we're gonna have like another red governor anyway. I think Fishback will be the governor. I think they're voting for him. Potentially, I think his rhetoric's pretty strong.
I hate that you guys go off of rhetoric.
Well, Fishback's like a libertarian, so I mean, I'll see who I vote for. I may just sit this out. I don't like the candidates too much. I may sit it out.
Ron Paul, I swear to God, I'm about to. Dude. I'm gonna run a fucking anti-protein bar campaign against you, dude. Don't ever come up here eating a protein bar ever again, advocate.
Yeah, it's gone.
All right, I swear to God, I'm gonna punch a baby. I'll fund that campaign.
Let's go, man. Yeah, sorry about that. I was just, chewing gum. I spit it out though.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
Trump. Oh. I feel like Trump is actually has been doing a great job, with his leadership, particularly the border and the economy. So, yeah, that's where it's at right now. And I think it's disgraceful that the Supreme Court actually did that ruling. I think it's a joke. And
why do you think it's a joke? Isn't that our country's supposed to run? No dictators, pretty much imposing country like tariffs on the whole world from his desk.
I think the U.S. has been treated unfairly, regarding tariffs. Like,
I know that he's given you talking points about this, but do you think the president should be able to do this? Like,
absolutely, he should.
He's told you in a million ways that are mostly lies about how tariffs work, about how they're ripping us off, and the trade deficits have peaked since the tariffs. He has made them worse. The reason he's put them up is because the trade deficits, and he's made them worse. Jobs have gotten worse. Jobs numbers are ass. The economy's ass. And then we come to deportation. You guys are obsessed with deportation. You guys are obsessed with the border.
Because you guys are obsessed too. All you guys are flying to Minnesota to create chaos, and you expect me to not say anything about it? Like, of course I am.
Why are we doing mass deportation? Who does it help?
Well, it helps the American people in many ways.
In what way?
Well, for instance, I mean, we're the president when he is tough on immigration. I think it sends a message that laws are not to be.
But he's also very openly corrupt, so it's kind of a moot point.
Well, what do you mean by that?
He's made billions of dollars last year, enriching himself.
Well, he was already a billionaire, before.
He doubled his wealth in 1 year.
Well, Forbes actually, having reported him being like double the rich as he was. So like,
not the only person who can speak on this.
Well, I think well, what's your source that he was way more rich now than he was before? Like, what's your source for that?
If it's true, that's bad, right?
Well, not really. Like, so wait. So like, are you saying being rich is like bad? Like, I don't think so.
I think being alive for 80 years and then all of a sudden when you're president you double your wealth, that's corruption easily.
Well, that's an assumption, because you're implying that he stole money or something, or yeah. Maybe it's because he actually, opened doors that, the presidency opened doors for him to like, make more business, moves and then,
That's exactly what we're accusing him of. Yet using the presidency to enrich himself.
yeah, it's something wrong with that. I
It's
don't
not
see
good.
anything wrong with that.
So he's changing the rules of this nation that affect everybody, and whether they're good or not for us doesn't matter. It's good for his pocketbook. That's what we're accusing him of. That's what corruption is. That's what he's doing. I can just point to one thing, Kalshi and all of the illegal gambling that you could do online. We had all sorts of stuff lined up to crack down on that before Trump came into office. He immediately came in and cut all the investigations that went into that. And then his son-in-law, Kushner, and his son, Don Jr., now have owning stakes in all of these games, all of them. Kalshi, Polymarket, they own parts of all of them now. So that's very convenient. Same thing with him enriching his daughter with fast-tracking all sorts of things with China to enrich her and her companies. Same thing with his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, $2 billion in the Middle East. Did we know what we signed up for? Are we making weird deals with the Middle East with people who fund terrorism so that Trump can get rich? I don't know. We don't know. That's what we're talking about. That's what's problematic.
Well, I mean, we've always had strong relations with, like, Saudi Arabia and, like, like Qatar, those people.
Yeah, and nobody's made billions of dollars like Trump has. So there's the difference.
Well, because the difference is he was already a billionaire, and you have people like competent presidents like Biden, like what's he gonna do, regarding that?
Well, I would bet that he would make the right decision for America behind
Really?
closed doors before Trump, because Trump would probably look at being spiteful towards his enemies or somebody that slighted him, doing personal things with our government and our money, as opposed to Biden. Biden doesn't really do that. Biden was pretty good about that. He didn't have to go around calling dictators good people, and didn't have to go around calling people who ran child sex trafficking rings good people. We knew that his position on these things wasn't bought by money.
Well, I mean, regardless, the Trump administration, is actually, now that you mentioned the betting thing, Cash Patel actually went on and cracked down on, like, the huge NBA scandal with the betting thing. So, like, with the mob and stuff. So they actually proved that Trump's actually anti-corruption.
They want people to be doing betting on the gambling websites Trump owns. That's why he cracked down on it.
Wait, and what's that website called?
Kalshi.
Yeah, I know that. I heard about that. Yeah. But I think it's more reliable anyway for bettors. I think it's it keeps your money safe. Than actually putting
I
ice.
get that, but it's also conveniently something Trump owns. Also, same thing. There's not a single thing that you could point to that is good for the country when it comes to mass deportation. Not a single metric, not a single economic number, not a jobs number, not a crime number. There's not a thing that you can point to. Only bad things, only hugely bad things for our economy when you do mass deportation.
Right.
But Trump has tons of friends who donated millions of dollars that own charter plane companies that are doing these mass deportations. He's also got tons of friends that are building these facilities that are making billions of dollars, building detention facilities and building gates and giant commercials and rap videos for their DHS. He has tripled the budget, although there's not a single thing you can point to as to why it's good. But that's not a big deal. Trump's a businessman.
Well, could you like actually reason with me, because like even if you like, even putting aside, right, the fact that you're making the claim that, well, mass deportations isn't beneficial for the country. Well, putting that aside, like, wouldn't you say it's just like putting law into order, like it's just necessary,
No, it's the same thing as saying I'm going to go around and arrest every person that's smoking weed, because weed's federally illegal. Should we go do that? It's law and order. It will tell everybody, but hey, we're following the law.
Well, it's legal. It's legal in many states.
Yeah, I know. Sanctuary cities have legal rights for immigrants, right, too? So Trump doesn't talk about
that's actually illegal.
City
That's
rights.
illegal.
Yeah, federally, right?
Yeah,
same thing. Same exact thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Trump, was trying to, like, he actually said that, he wanted to, like, make it legal.
don't care. I don't care. I'm talking about how stupid and arbitrary would it be for me to go enforce the law just because it's the law. That's why you said we're doing deportation. It's stupid. You guys are brainwashed.
I'm not brainwashed. I mean, if you can take a look at our southern border, Mexico's literally doing the exact same thing. Canada does the same thing. Every single
Name
country.
another country that's spending as much as we are on mass deportation.
Well, how about this? Name a country that has this many illegals as us. Go ahead.
There's plenty. Yeah, there's many more.
All right.
How many
you
are
name?
here?
Like hundreds of millions.
No, there's no.
Yeah,
What?
absolutely there is.
No, there's okay. Department of Homeland Security, ran by Kristi Noem, Trump appointed, says there's right now on the DHS website there's 11.7 million undocumented migrants here.
Well, you know, she's actually not doing a great job. You know, she's actually
We
pretty
know
short.
Trump hired her. Yeah, we said she was going to do a bad job.
Well, you know, every president changes their cabinet. You know, every 4 years. It's pretty typical. You know, I'm not surprised if she gets fired.
Trump will probably go through his whole cabinet again, like he did his first term, very uniquely. He fired 95% of his last cabinet because they were asked to do fascist, authoritarian things, and a lot of them said no.
Well, like what?
Shooting protesters below the knees.
Well, I mean, if they're like aggressive writers, you know, I don't see why not. You know, you gotta stop.
That's un-American. That's disgusting. Yeah.
I disagree. You know, and speaking of which, I actually think I agree with Trump. I think the Constitution is actually outdated.
Okay, but
anyway.
there's a way to go about changing it, right? You can't just take a pin to it when you're Trump.
Yeah, but like, you know, you see the problem is like even if he tries to do it the legal way, Democrats are never going to allow it to happen.
Dang. So you just need an authoritarian to change it himself, huh?
No, you just need someone to step it up and, you know, actually like, you know, take action, put his foot down on, you know, the government and say, hey, you know, like we actually need to change this. Come on. You know?
And then ask everybody if they agree, and if they don't, then we don't do it, right? Because we're America.
Yeah, but like, you know, America needed somebody to step up and actually change the corruption in this country. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a dictator, but and I don't think Trump is a dictator actually, but I think, you know, he's someone who's actually, you know, taking the country, you know, into the correct, you know, way.
You're just saying all the ways you want our leader to break the laws, and it's the same thing. Every dictator that comes to power, they express the same problems, that it's just too hard to follow the law, and that there's these special problems that only they're equipped to do and be courageous about. It's the story of every fascist dictator ever. I'm not buying it. We've survived 270 years without somebody being a dictator. We can keep going, especially since we are still like the best economy on earth. I don't see any warning signs about how that's failing us.
Oh, but I agree. Like, yeah, I don't necessarily want a dictator either. But I'm just saying, like, I think we need someone who's actually like, you know, kind of different from like, you know, the other presidents. You know, there has been, and I think Trump has been different.
A
you know?
piece of gum is different from our other presidents. It's not really a qualifier.
Well, you know, I think Trump's, you know, he's if you know what, if I could vote for him again, I would. But like, you know, it's just a shame. You know,
You haven't really made any good points. I think you just danced around all this. You've acknowledged that there's not a single good thing, only huge negative feedback from mass deportation. You can't justify it, and you just needed somebody. Somebody needed to be brave enough to do it, though. What?
well, I mean, you know, regarding the positives of like mass deportation, I think one of them is like, you know, because like these illegals are taking our jobs. You know, they're taking people's jobs and sort of the economy, and you know, especially like when we have like high inflation, like, you know, you kind of need jobs, and people are waiting on lines, they can't get a job. You
For
know,
every 500,000 people we deport, 44,000 jobs are lost by U.S. citizens.
well, I mean, no, I actually don't think that's true. What's the source for that?
That's true. They don't just sit here and work jobs in a vacuum. They buy things after they work jobs, and those purchases create a demand that make people hire more people.
Yeah, but I think I think the reason why that demand exists is because for example, like you have it started like even like back in the 80s, when Reagan did the amnesty. I think it was a big mistake for for the country in California. That's why it's actually solid blue now. But you know
So
the
you
reason.
admit that you want to deport people because you think that they're going to turn the country blue. That's it.
Well, for example, like just a bunch of Democrats who want to allow illegals to vote. Like if they were to make that happen, like it would be blue. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
but
that's a
they're not. That's not happening. So, in fact, y'all are the only people who have done it so far. So,
well, a lot of people without documentation actually vote illegally.
that's not true. How many people do it?
I don't really have an estimate right now, but you can
But you
probably
said a lot. What's a lot?
more than like a couple thousands.
No. Over the last 10, 20 years, there have been 300 undocumented people who've tried to vote. That wouldn't change a single election. It wouldn't change a city council election.
Well, I mean, if we were able to like get that number, like, wouldn't you say like a lot of people get away with it because it's impossible to like track every single voter fraud?
We have no reason to believe that
Oh, we have a
undocumented
lot of
people.
reasons to believe it.
No, like no actual reason. We just have Trump yelling it, but we have no There's no irregularities. We go through every single one of these votes, and 3 people look at the signatures. They make sure that people match. There's no problem with our elections, besides the fact that y'all want less people to vote. So they've been telling you all of these lies to make you doubt the democratic process, which is also a tenet of fascism. And they want to change laws so that less people show up and vote. That's what they're trying to do.
Well, I mean, where did the 6 million votes go? To like Kamala, like where did Biden votes go?
Yeah, so people were less vigorous to vote. Trump was less fresh on their minds. 2020, Trump completely mishandled the pandemic. Was calling a woman that he grabbed by the pussy horse face and all this stuff on Twitter. He was tweeting 40 times in one night. All of this stuff was fresh on our mind, just like it is now. And the midterms will come back and we'll vote him out. I'm sure. We will probably get enough people in Congress to impeach him. I think that's what's going to happen again. You're not proving anything by asking, where did all these voters go? You have to go 7 times harder than that. You have to show me exact evidence. Otherwise, you're just casting doubt and doing fascism.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying like that's a pretty weak argument, to like argue that that's where the 6 million votes went.
Okay, I think it's a weak argument for you to go, where'd 6 million votes go? The election was stolen. That's weak. You bring that to court, someone's gonna go, all right, that makes no sense.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like for example, in California right now, Nick Shirley's actually exposing more fraud in California. The voting registration, there's actually a house of a Democrat family that actually had 108 registered Democrats in their house. So you can only imagine how many houses are doing the exact same thing. I mean, it's just like nasty, corrupt.
Yeah. I don't think that shows corruption yet. We have to show how
really
it
illegally
voted. Nope. Especially since it's a YouTuber and somebody who has every reason to make clickbait. He's also made some very.
He's not. Well, he's actually a reporter. He's an
Everybody's
influencer.
a reporter. Okay, I'm an influencer. It doesn't mean anything. I watched a video of him going to Ukraine and misleadingly videotaping parts of Ukraine that weren't war torn, and then alluding to the fact that there was no war in Ukraine and that was fake, and that there was corruption, and pretty much was spreading lies for Putin, spreading propaganda for Russia. This is how sloppy that fucking idiot is.
Well, he literally exposed the Somalian fraud in Minnesota.
No, he didn't.
And yeah, he did. He actually went to the daycare facilities, and nobody were answering the phones.
Yeah,
it was just,
they were a 9-9 daycare. Remember?
Well, it was multiple daycare centers.
He did.
It was
most of the ones he found were just ones that were closed and stuff. In fact, if they weren't involved in the court case, I'm sure that he didn't find anything new. It was all fake. So he misled you, just like he misled you.
No. They found billions of fraud.
I know that, not connected to the daycares he was showing though.
Yeah, but still, like because of what he did, like we were able to get to that point, right?
No, that's not true. He did this years later. This fraud case dates back to 2020, bub.
Yeah, but like it only came to light now, you know, because it was related to what he was putting out.
No, it came to light now because they finally got their convictions. That's why it came to light, and you guys recycled it.
Wow,
And got
talk about timing. Am I right?
Yeah, it wasn't because of Nick Shirley that they got convictions. This was already being adjudicated.
Yeah, but regardless, I think he's a great guy exposing the corruption of Democrats.
He hasn't exposed anything.
Well, he actually is. Like, you know, you should take a look at his recent video in California. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah,
I can
did you know
play
that
for you.
Trump had a fraudulent university, stole from a children's cancer charity, paid Pam Bondi to drop lawsuits against him, grabbed a woman by the pussy and was adjudicated for that?
Well, you're just repeating yourself, like, at this point.
Okay, but Trump is a proven fraudster, the leader of your party that runs the country, who doubled his wealth last year. You want to focus on some Somalis that did a daycare in Minnesota?
I don't want to focus on that. I'm just saying, like, Nick Shirley's actually, like, someone who's actually doing a great job exposing the corruption. That's all I'm saying.
He doesn't expose anything. He's misleading. He's created propaganda for Russia and maybe the right wing, but he hasn't really exposed anything. He's profoundly stupid, too.
Where are you pro-Ukraine?
I am pro-Ukraine, yeah.
All right.
Are you?
I have no comment on that right now.
How do you have no comment?
Well, because that's besides the point. You know, we're talking about Trump.
Okay,
but
so you
anyway,
literally have no Trumper has a position on Ukraine. They don't know what to think because over the last year and a half, you guys have gone from Ukraine is evil, corrupt, horrible. Joe Biden is laundering money to thank God as Trump is defending Ukraine now. Thank God.
Well, I mean, like, you know, Zelensky isn't a bright guy either. You know, I think that guy's, you know, ungrateful to, like, the country, the president, disrespectful as well. When he was in the White House, it was just it's a joke. He's a laughing stock.
They did Russia a huge favor when they beat down on him on television in the Oval Office. A man who's we robbed him of his nuclear weapons. We robbed their country. We made them give them up. We promised them protection. And then when it comes time to protect them, we're jamming them up for their resources. We're calling them ungrateful.
Yeah, but like they literally received billions of dollars from U.S. taxpayers.
Yeah,
like,
they wouldn't have needed it if they had their nukes.
No. Like, come on. Like, let's be serious. Like, I think they would still ask for billions and billions of dollars. You know, that's what they do.
Again, they wouldn't have needed our help if.
And he got angry because Trump didn't give him a cent. You know, that's the problem. We're winning big. We're winning big with Trump.
Sorry. They didn't receive billions of dollars. It's true. So, Ukraine got about $370 billion of aid during Biden's presidency. 75 of that was humanitarian aid in the form of like cash and food and stuff. The rest of it was just used old military equipment. So like old Abrams tanks, like shit that we don't use anymore. It was just
Well, but still, like, yeah, but like they still like received like 66 billion in military aid, like besides like the food and stuff.
Okay, Trump spent that on like changing the Gulf of America's name and giving Argentina free money.
Well, it was actually a loan, the Argentina thing.
And Jazz, where did that $66 billion come from for Ukraine?
It came from the government.
It came from the DoD specifically. The DoD budget that arms sales from the Lend-Lease Act go into. You know what doesn't go in there?
You mean the DOW? But yeah, go ahead.
The Department of Defense.
Of war. You go ahead.
Because at the time when the money was allocated, it was the Department of Defense, so it came from the Department of Defense. That money comes from arms sales. That money does not come from U.S. taxpayers.
And it was already
that
allocated.
fund is funded. Yes, it was already allocated, but that fund is funded by the Lend-Lease Act. That's when we sell military equipment to our NATO allies, which, by the way, we made over double what we gave to Ukraine via arms sales because of that war. So we actually made a ton of money on that, and it didn't cost the taxpayers a dime.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't you say, we could have actually used that money for like, the American people, for example? You had natural disasters in North Carolina and California and Texas.
The Lend-Lease Act does not allow that. The Lend-Lease Act, the law does not allow that because it is not taxpayer money.
Yeah, but like the president, Trump, I'm sure would still do it.
Well, yeah, Trump likes to break the law all the time.
Yeah, even when it's necessary to help the American people, I agree.
Okay, so committing a crime does not solve crime. It just makes crime worse.
It doesn't, right? Which is why.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know what you guys.
It does. It does. Committing a crime to solve a problem just creates more crime. I don't know. You muted yourself there.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, what did you say?
If you quit rubbing your phone against whatever the fuck it is that you're rubbing it against and causing all that noise, maybe you wouldn't accidentally hit the mute button.
No, I didn't. I actually purposely hit it because I was doing something. Yeah.
Yeah, crimes don't cancel each other out. If somebody else is committing a crime and you commit a crime to stop them from doing their crime, they don't cancel each other.
Yeah,
you don't have a zero-sum game. You have just more crime. So if the president is breaking the law and committing crimes to try to quote-unquote make things better, all he's doing is making things worse by creating more crime.
I don't think giving government funding to the American people is a crime. I think it's ridiculous.
But that's the law.
Regardless.
The Lend-Lease Act was written that way specifically, so that it could not be used in a corrupt fashion.
Yeah.
It's very specific on what that money can go to. It's just like everything else. I mean, just like you said earlier, you think that Trump should have the ability to just arbitrarily and unilaterally rewrite the Constitution anytime he wants. If that's the case, you don't want to live in this country, because that's not the country that this is. You want that, you go to Russia. That's what they do over there. You want that kind of government, go there. That's what they do. Go to North Korea. That's what he does.
Well, you guys literally want a
That's
government
not here.
without any borders, so why are you even talking about that?
Nobody
Pickles never said that. I never said that. Don't project your own bullshit
you
on
guys
us.
literally want mass amnesty, like that. That is literally.
Did either one of us say mass amnesty?
No, yeah,
When did we say
he
that?
told me the other time I was up here. He said like
The only
that's what
party
he
who's done
wanted.
that is Reagan. This y'all side. And again,
Yeah, but that was the '80s, buddy. That was before illegal immigration.
There's a million ways to address the undocumented migrants here, aside from kidnapping them and expelling them from the country and fucking up our own
Wow,
economy.
kidnapping criminals. How great to
Yeah,
defend them.
70% non-criminal, by the way.
Well, it's they still broke the law regardless.
Yeah, like a speeding ticket.
Right. You see, this
need
is
to be
what I.
kidnapped for that?
This guy does not believe in borders.
If you
Why
jaywalk,
would you live in a
so if you
country?
jaywalk, we can kidnap you.
No, because I'm a U.S. citizen. If I'm illegal, yeah, you can absolutely kidnap me and take me back to my country.
They still have the same rights. They still have the same rights. They still have equal protection under the law, even if they're undocumented.
According to whom?
According to the Constitution. Try reading it sometime.
Well, I know. Well, Trump actually, he's interpreting it.
That's not his fucking job.
Yeah, but
what is the job of the executive branch? What are the jobs of the three branches concerning law? What does the legislative branch do with the law? What does the executive branch do with the law? And what does the judicial branch do? Please tell us.
Which one you want me to start with?
Your choice.
So, like the Congress, the legislative branch, they create laws and stuff.
They create the law. Good. Now, what does the judicial branch do?
Oh, well, that's the Supreme Court. So they
Yes. What do they do? What do they do with the law?
well they
One
decide
creates the law. What do they do with the law?
well they
There's a
decide
specific word for it.
they decide if the law is legal or not.
They interpret the law.
Yeah, whatever.
That's their job. The courts, the judicial branch, interprets the law, not the president. Is the president a part of the judicial branch?
No, that's executive.
Okay, what is the job of the executive branch then? What is their job to do with the law?
To enforce it.
Again, it's one word. Okay, enforce it. So again, you sit there and say, well, Donald Trump's interpreting the law differently. That's not his fucking job.
Yeah, but like
that's the court's job. His job is to shut his fucking mouth and enforce it.
Yeah, but this is exactly what I was talking about. Like, I think we need a president who actually, who should step up and actually like try to like get shit done. Because like these presidents.
Okay, let me give you an analogy here. Let's say that you have a mechanic shop, right? You fix cars. You have a car repair shop, right? And you have mechanics that work for you. Mechanics that have been doing their jobs for decades. They have all the good tools, right? They have all the good tools. They have all the things in their toolbox to do the job the way it's requested of them. And then you got a mechanic that comes in there with a 5-pound fucking hammer. And that's the only tool he's got. And he thinks that every car can be fixed with a 5-pound hammer. If he can't fix it with his 5-pound hammer, then it's not fixable. Is that a good mechanic? Are you going to keep him in his job?
That's a pretty poor analogy, if I'm being honest.
That's exactly what Trump is doing.
I don't think so.
That is quite literally exactly what Trump is doing.
How?
He is saying that I have broad authority to do this my way. Even though it's not the way that any other president has ever done it in the history of the United States, I have the right to do it this way. So if that mechanic looks at you and says, hey, I have the right to say that I can fix things with just a 5-pound hammer, is that how that works?
Well, I mean, you're implying that Trump is actually trying to like destroy the country. He's not.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and he's not.
By denying the Constitution, like violating the law, by violating people's civil liberties, by violating human rights, by violating international law. He's doing everything that you guys hate Vladimir Putin for doing.
Well, not really, because Vladimir actually was, he actually killed like his competition, to be like the president.
And Donald Trump has called for the same thing.
He's not actually. Our next president.
Yes, he has. No. You just said a falsehood. You just lied. Donald Trump absolutely called for the unalivement of members of Congress.
Like who? Name them.
The people that put out the video that basically reminded the United States military that they are not obligated to follow unlawful orders. He called for the people that created that advertisement to be unalived on Truth Social publicly.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like
that's the same thing. That's the same thing.
Well, he didn't like, literally mean these people to be killed. It's just like.
Yes, he did, because he said it directly.
Also, like, he doesn't type that out. Like, he actually has people.
Yes, he does. He has one staffer that only puts things up there that he approves.
Yeah, I saw.
He said that too.
I saw his documentary,
and he has said that too. Yeah.
But
so even if the staffer typed it out, Trump saw it, approved it, and said, yes, please put that up there.
No, he didn't see it actually, because like if you remember the Monkey Obama video, he said he didn't see it like before it happened.
That's not what he said.
He said
that
he only saw.
What he said.
He said he saw the first couple of seconds and then he just didn't see it.
No, that's what people have been spitballing, thinking that he might.
No, he said it in the White House.
He never
press
said it
conference.
directly.
He literally said it on live television.
Okay, so then he has no control over his own social media. I mean, we literally just had the chief of staff come out and say
he's
that
the
anything
president,
that he posts
for
on Truth
Christ's
Social is
sake.
policy.
He's busy. He
says that, yes, but they're the ones that claim that anything he says on social media is policy. It is not his public opinion. It is not something that he posts for fun. Everything posted under his social media is public policy that has been stated by him and his administration.
Yeah, but Trump doesn't mean it.
So if he doesn't mean what he says, then why the fuck did you vote for him?
Well, I'm saying like regarding social media, because social media is just social media. You know what I mean? Like, it's just his way to like express like his basically to rant. That's what he does.
It's designed for us to fight over it like this all the time. We fight over this. He does nothing but divisive stuff, and you guys have to run and play defense for him because everything that he does is so problematic. You have to reinterpret it. You have to retell it in a way that's not so bad or palpable to the average person. None of us buy it. He is a bad communicator. He makes poor decisions. He is an antagonizer. He is childish in every sense of the word, and he and you guys all love when he posts something and gets a reaction out of us. So you can't say that he didn't mean it this time. You can't say that this is outside of his wheelhouse. This is who he is. This is why you elected him. You loved it when he talked shit to Ted Cruz. You loved it when he talked shit to Obama and called him Kenyan. Y'all
Absolutely,
loved
I did.
Yeah,
I
so
did like
he
it.
absolutely is the racist we're calling him.
Well, I mean, Ted Cruz isn't. He's a white guy.
But Obama's not Kenyan, right?
He's half white, so like, he's still a white guy, regardless.
But he's not Kenyan, right?
Well, he is, but like, he's also white, so he's a white guy.
He's
You can say
white.
white, you can say black, you can say whatever.
Yeah, but Trump alluding to him not being American is racist, right?
Well, what Trump actually made it clear, he didn't see it. He didn't see that part until like after it was like.
We're talking about Trump calling Obama Kenyan.
Oh yeah, I mean he is Kenyan, I think.
Yeah, but he's saying he's not American based on the color of his skin. He's not American.
Well, that was before he was president. He made those accusations.
This was 2012 when Obama was president.
Yeah, right. Exactly before Trump was president, or even trying to reach.
Still written in perpetuity. We all know he said it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny it. He did say it, but it was just like he was just speculating.
He wasn't trying to cause outrage, and I still have people that believe that conspiracy because of Trump, and that's the wheelhouse that you guys are. The basket of deplorables that all believe some part of these strange things that Trump says, the outlandish bullshit that he says. Everything that even sounds moderate coming out of his mouth is usually a lie, and you guys hang on to some sort of semblance of it and run, and that's what's divided the nation.
Really, everything? I don't think so. I think his inauguration was actually a great speech, and very, very inspiring, very moving, many ways. And I think he actually spoke to everyone beyond just white conservatives, actually, black people, and he actually had a black a pastor, pray. It was very beautiful and inclusive. It was great.
Did he DEI that pastor?
No, because it was actually he earned it. This was merit based. Yeah, he was just better than
coincidental.
It's not. The guy. He's actually been in touch with Trump even before that. They've actually known each other for a while.
All right, Jazz. Well, I'm gonna let you look up.
Well, American Advocate wants to come up. American Advocate wants to come up. By the way,
I think y'all are the same person.
I second that. Their voices are very similar.
Yeah. It feels like parody at this point. What's sad is you really can't tell the difference between trolls and parody accounts anymore. The MAGAs are so far gone, dude. You really can't.
Well, the only MAGAs we're seeing now are just bottom of the barrel IQ.
You think it's his son? Yeah.
Now, did you see the part of the Trump's interview after the Supreme Court decision today where the reporter asked him, it's like, well, why don't you go ahead and work with Congress? If you want to still enact these tariffs, why don't you work with Congress and create legislation? He said, oh, I don't have to. I don't have to. We have the absolute right.
Bigger. I can make them even. It's even better now that this happened, actually.
Wait, isn't this press conference to get your opinion on them telling you can't? Dumb fuck? Holy shit.
Dude, he was all over the place.
He was everywhere. God, it was so funny. And you can tell he's just seriously, when I first heard about the Supreme Court decision, I was sitting there thinking to myself, okay, maybe it is a chess move. Maybe it is, he realizes that the tariffs are fucked and they're not working. And so this is a way for him to save face, and then he can sit there and bitch about it and whine. He can say, oh, look at how the Supreme Court went against me, blah, 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 blah. But no, after that interview, he seriously still thinks that he has the right to do it. And the fact that he's doubling down with some new executive order today, putting another 10% global tariff out, it just boggles me.
It's just going to take us another year and a half to tear it down. Goddamn authoritarian. Totally not a dictator, chat. That's total bullshit. I think I'm going to call it here. I need to go to the gas station and get some treats.
Get a soda and some munchies.
Yeah.
Cool. I just did that on my way home. Sitting here doing a little gardening with my root beer and my grandma's cookies.
That sounds good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
I've gotten on a new trip, man. I've gotten on a new trip. Take the Nestle Toll House recipe. I make a double batch, and I sub a cup of flour for a cup of cocoa. Double chocolate chip cookies are fucking amazing.
I want to give a big shout out to Ruthie. Guys, I have an Amazon wish list, and Ruthie sent me a gift. I opened it yesterday. She sent me 10 bags of Old Trapper beef jerky, chat. 10. And also, thank you so much. But also,
that's sick.
Some sour treats. So,
I don't suppose Ruthie happens to be in the audience, does she? If she does, or next time you see her or them, big W's Ruthie.
Yeah, if anybody knows where Ruthie is. Yeah. So much. Thank you so much. And a big box of treats for pickles.
Oh, nice.
Again, insane.
Good treats for the whole household. It's always good to eat, people keep in mind that, people got pets. That's awesome. Thank you very much, Ruthie. Everybody here appreciates you.
Yeah, thank you. Chat, I am going to, I know that's so much beef jerky. Oh, Ruth, thank you so much. I love you so much. Thank you.
Yes, W. Ruth, thank you very much for pickles, man. That's awesome. Can we get a lot of big W's down there in the chat for Ruth? That's badass.
Pickles says thank you too. She will be eating those treats. I am so grateful. Thank you. But yeah, chat, I think I'm going to get off and run some errands and maybe do some gaming. So hope you guys have a good day. I will see you guys more this weekend. Guys, if you have me added on Discord, the more people who hold me accountable and say, hey, where are you going to live? More likely I'm going to be live. So
yeah, pester the shit out of him. Don't let him get away with it. Just say, get on your ass live. Get your fucking ass on live now. Come on. We haven't seen you in a week. Where the hell?
It's not even that Ruth. Well, thank you, Ruth, for being the same name as Ruth. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, chat. I love you.
So are you streaming your games today, or are you just going to chill?
I might eventually get back
to people want to know.
I might eventually do that. I have a gaming Discord server now, and I am now on there pretty frequently. And if you guys want to see me, I can stream my gameplay on that Discord server. but I don't want to stream my gameplay on TikTok because the game I play, I use add-ons, and I use some unethical add-ons that if I streamed it live, I could get reported and banned. So I would rather just stream it privately.
Oh, what game we talking?
Final Fantasy.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, and I have a lot of hours invested in my Final Fantasy.
You know, that's about the same for me in like Fallout. I couldn't stream the Fallout with the mods I have. I would get banned so fast.
Yeah.
There's some pretty choice spicy mods for Fallout.
I'm gonna share my gaming Discord and an announcement on my other Discord. I'll do that right now. And copy. I'll do that right now.
That means if you want to be in the know, you gotta get on the Discord, guys. So make sure if you're not on the Discord, you go to the link in his bio, click on the link in his bio, and somebody will get you in.
All right, there we go. You're gonna be big live today. Follow Oslo and get there, and you'll get there. Oh shit! There is a big live going on today, and I was invited. Oslo.
Yeah, wait, RTP's a part of that too.
Damn, I probably should.
If I remember right.
11 p.m. Eastern. Good Trouble 2. Dang, you know what? I want to do it. Yeah. Max also Good Trouble. Yeah, I'll do it. I'm gonna hit up Oslo.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure Oslo knows what's going on.
Oh yeah. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later. I love you, chat. I'll catch you.
All right,
soon.
hey, so everybody keep an eye out. So that live is going to be coming up this evening. All the big creators are talking about times and everything else. So just go to their lives, check it out. We'll all meet there.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, later, brother.
Much love and peace out, infectious. Chat, I love yous. I will see y'all soon. Peace.